Good afternoon, good evening, and good day. Good morning to those of you on the West Coast. Apologies for the late start. I forgot how much the combo of flu shot and COVID shot remind me of waking up after a soccer party. So, for those of you not familiar with what that is where you've pissed off everybody, and you wake up, and they've pulled you from your bunk, and they're beating you with socks full of soap, hard bar soap. So, not that I've ever had one, but that's how I feel. I'm just making sure everything's set up on the video side, and then I will be fully engaged here with you guys. Let's check that real quick. It's got the right settings for the show, but now I need to make sure it's got the right settings for chat. And it does, somehow. I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason for when it doesn't have the right settings for chat, and I'm confused. So now we'll go to the control center. And then we'll sample the audio to make sure we can hear it. And that it's not out of whack, because the software has been fun with the audio lately. Let's see. It sounds decent to me. I didn't hear any weird stuff in the background, like water fountains, and it's not too low like it was over on Brian's channel. I don't know why it. I had the volume at like 200%, and then I boosted it, and it was barely audible. All right, so let's open up another tab and figure out what we're going to do for discussion topics. Let's go on over to front door.
Did you see the interview with the board of directors from Tesla?
I did not. Tell me about it.
She went on. I don't know what news network it was.
Oh, it was fresh. That's why they were offering it.
Talking about Elon's composition package.
Yeah.
They talked about Elon's political stuff. She said they can't control what he does as a person, but
the person, no.
That he's done in the government is done. She's pretty sure.
Hopefully.
She was talking about how the things he set, the composition package goals that are set there, he set himself because they met with him repeatedly and to see what his visions were and see what he thinks he could get himself to do.
Yeah.
So they did that. And then she was just talking about the future of the company and that she's like, we need a great leader like Elon. So
I mean, he gets results.
Yeah.
Or at least he got past results. So hopefully we can get through it without him saying, oh, the stock is too high, or any of the other things he's done in the past to make it go down.
Elon has to start, there's people on Blue Sky calling for Elon to be next.
Be next.
I think you can understand what I mean by be next.
That's not good. That's not the way to resolve anything.
And then Elon says he needs to enhance his security.
He does.
Yes, you do. Tesla does not pay enough for your security. They spend $3 million on it. $3 million on his security.
I'd say that's a pretty fair amount. How much do the other companies pay?
Compared to Meta, that pays $23 million.
No, I meant how much do all the sisters? How much do all the sisters pay? What is SpaceX and X and everybody else doing for it?
I know they're looking into actually paying more for his security now.
Yeah.
Good. They need to if they want him around. Yeah. Elon's saying crazy stuff right now, like the left is murder.
Well, that's the other part. Is the more he does stuff like that, the more expensive it gets, because it makes it harder to deal with the people he's riled. And not that again, that's not that it's okay for that to happen, but it's a reality that if you go and poke somebody in the eye, they might react a certain way. And not that that's excusable. Just saying.
Imagine I go to this event on Sunday, and Elon's there.
Oh man,
that would be a very wonderful moment.
It could be
in the same room as my idol.
It could be. Let's see. Oh, I need to switch it to chat. There we go. Future Outside's here. The crew. Smack that early thumb. Even though you did describe it. Well, it didn't happen to me. It was a warning to not upset people, because here's the thing. And then I met some people who it happened to, and then I saw it in movies. I was like, what? This is a real thing times two. Enough that they made movies about it. Like, let me not piss off some people in a situation like those. I'm surprised Gomer Pyle didn't get one in the Full Metal Jacket.
I need really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elon was speaking virtually in Britain.
Yeah.
That. I'm happy he's doing it virtually though.
Yeah. If you'd like to jump in, Brian, come on in. All right. So I think that'd be fun to have a nice discussion on the compensation package. The thumbnail looked like it was an old interview, so I didn't click it. I watched a bunch of garbage instead. If I knew, I would have watched it. Let's see. I need to make a new window so that I have the news on a separate window from you guys. That way I can see it. Let's do. That's fine. Too busy joining today, getting all the OEVA footage uploaded for the editor. Indeed. And I'm glad to hear that his country has calmed down from the mess that they were in, because you came back and then pandemonium. And then a couple days later, they had some more stuff happen. It's like, is that going to work? And then a couple more days, and it was better. But like you said, they've got a lot that they need to repair now. They need, like you said, cleaning supplies, paint, and a lot more. So if you're feeling up to it, the folks in Nepal could use some assistance as well. Unrelated to my departure, they assure me. Bring back Brian. We will destroy this place until we do. All right. Hi, baby. Why are you grabbing on my headphones? Do you want something? Yeah, you want some headphones? Yeah, so that's why I'm still in this sweatshirt, because, like I said, they got the old aches and pains. Now let's see. I was moving to a new window. Let's do. I just drag this out. Yeah, that works. Unfortunately, it started a video. About Charleston, Savannah, and tidal flooding and tropical storms. That might be a fun video to watch, because Charleston refuses to do any of the stuff that Miami did to protect themselves from flooding. And not because they don't think it'll work. They're just being too damn cheap. Now, I think it was Brian, but several people pointed out that maybe it's not working and Miami wasted the money. But it'll be easier to see with those three, because they mirror each other. I don't think Savannah floods as bad as Charleston does, but Miami, you could get sunshine flooding as well. At least you used to be able to. There was an article on my screen about zinc ion batteries. I haven't read enough about them to hold a cogent discussion, but it sounds interesting to me. Let's see what else we've got coming up here. I didn't put anything in the notebook this week, but I did have success at resolving my programming issues at work. So we'll see how they go, and we'll see if I can open source any of the useful stuff. Oh, here's news. Tesla discontinues the cheapest Cybertruck. Nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted it at the price they were selling it for, I'll give you that. If you wanted it to be a work truck, reduce the range a little bit, and then you can do all that decontenting. But I don't know anybody who was really interested in the standard, the base Cybertruck. It was not compelling for the price they were charging. What do you guys think? Uh-oh. We lost Slimy. Let's bring her back. Oh, no, I don't have a button for that. What What do you think there, Brian? And let's see. Yeah, that's a discussion worth having. Let's see what they think about it. And Europe rebuffs automakers pleas to let them lose the EV race to China. It's always a good thing. You wanna have more EVs, not roll over and die and let China take it. Get EV questions answered on your test drive at one of Drive Electric Month in your area. And so it's another call back to OEVA, our friends over in Oregon there with Patrick and Brian at Futuraza. They are doing their Drive Electric Month. They already did it, or it's coming up soon. I'm sorry, I don't know what day of the week it is. Well, I do know what day of the week it is, but I don't. I'm not. I guess I'm spaced. Hey, baby, what's up? And let's keep going. Electric haul trucks can save Fortescue over 400 million in fuel per year. That's a lot of money, but we've talked about Fortescue in the past with their mining rigs, and there could be some savings in that. It was yesterday in Portland, so I hope you had a chance to go. If not, Brian is editing a video. He's got it all assembled, sending it off to the editor as we speak, and it'll be ready when it's ready. So I hope you're subscribed to that channel and have the bell turned on for Futuraza. Otherwise, you might miss it. Unless we do the book tour thing and he comes on and we talk about the video live, which would also be fun. Let's see. Yeah, Fortescue and the electric mining rigs, I like them. World's first all-electric deconstruction site runs on Volvo CE. Yeah, that's true, because not only do we need to build stuff, sometimes you need to make space for the new stuff. And then once you're done, using blasting caps and everything like that, it would be good for the planet if we used EVs to clean up rather than just have diesel and propane and LPG just constantly idling away. From 0 a month, 5 of the best EV lease deals in September. Running out of time, folks. We've got till the end of the month. And remember, that doesn't mean you actually have till the end of the month, because you have to make sure there's inventory. You have to have your financing all lined up. Even if you're paying cash, you got to make sure your bank isn't going to mess with you. We've discussed in the past how Patrick plans his stuff out, and he had it all ready to go, and then they were just dragging butt about getting the money he had already instructed them to move where it needed to go, and he almost missed out on his deal. He got it, but it wasn't without undue stress. And you've seen how he gets stuff ready in advance. So if he's getting ready early and they mess with him, you got to make sure that they don't mess with you. And we've got today's the 14th, and we've got till the 30th. So if you're wanting that tax credit and you want an electric car and you've got everything ready to go, you need to be making your decision by tomorrow and selecting. So and again, there was talk of the chance to have second chances if everything was already in play. But do you want to count on any politician to allow that to happen, or do you want to just sail on through without having to, put your fingertips together and in nervous gestures and hope that they do the right thing? Hyundai wants to bring back the hot hatch, and its new EV concept nails it. Nothing wrong with the hot hatch. China surge and pushes global wind towards fastest growth ever. Wind is pretty cool. It's not as cheap as solar, but it works in the dark. But dark or not, you've got batteries if you plan it out right. I don't know what Moto is freaking out about. And if you hear you might hear it, the Nintendo Super Mario Brothers. That is the adult ice cream truck. It's a cool concept, but Also, I don't know if they're allowed to use the Nintendo theme, but it's more fun than some of their other selections they could have chosen. So I'll allow it. Let's see. Ram's electric pickup truck is officially dead. That's not a good thing. We'll pull that one up in a minute. And our recall segment is this early today. Toyota is recalling over 590,000 vehicles and halting their EV sales yet again. Way to go, BZ4X. Toyota was hit with a major recall on Friday, impacting around 591,000 vehicles in the U.S. The company is recalling certain RAV4 Camry. These aren't even EVs; these are hybrids. Certain RAV4 Camry, Corolla, and Grand Highlander, several Lexus models. The situation gets worse with another recall, leading to a stop sale of Toyota, Lexus, and Subaru electric vehicles, of which they've recalled 591,000. On Friday, Toyota issued a voluntary recall with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or the NHTSA. The recall affects the Toyota Venza, Crown, Signa, so it's not even limited to North America. Good gracious. The Venza, the Crown, Signa, RAV4, GR, Corolla, 4Runner, Camry, Grand Highlander, Tacoma, Highlander models, as well as specific Lexus LS, RX, and TX vehicles. Toyota said the recall is due to a glitch in the infotainment system. The 12.3-inch display screen could fail to turn on after starting the vehicle, or even worse, go blank while driving. The infotainment screen. So I'm going to guess that this is going to be another reverse camera failure. And I'm going to guess that the electrics all use that same camera, and only some of the other hybrids and gas models use it. So let's keep on reading and see. All right, good to see you, Brian. Thank you for coming through. And like I said, guys, check out Futurata. Subscribe over to see the results of the OEVA Drive Electric Month event. All right, so let's see here. We've got a glitch in the infotainment system. I don't see that it matters that it goes blank while you're driving, only that it's not working on startup and when you shift in reverse. My Volt did that several times, and they never recalled it for that, but the camera did work always. Let's see. I say my Volt. The first Volt did that several times. The 2012, the 13 had a completely different infotainment stack. Same screen, but it didn't have the hard drive, and it was different. And a separate recall notice. Alright, let's see. I had a request from my mom, but some of the keywords in the notification were like, huh? But I got it. She's made a technological request, which will oblige her. So the screen going blank. In a separate notice last week, Toyota issued another major recall, including 95,000 electric vehicles. The recall involves certain 2023 to 2025 Toyota BZ4X, Lexus RZ, and Subaru Solterra. The BZ4X accounts for the majority of those being recalled, with nearly 41,500, followed by the Solterra with 32,320, and 20,501 Lexus RZs. Toyota instructed dealers to halt sales of the Lexus RZ, Subaru Solterra, and BZ4Xs produced up to mid-June, all of which are based on the same platform. According to the memo, the recall is due to a faulty defroster, and it's pretty self-explanatory as to why it poses safety risk. Yeah, that's pretty important. You need to be able to see if the defroster doesn't do its job. That could be dangerous. Combined with your display not working, maybe you're in reverse and neither defroster is doing its job. That's not good either. Wow. If your vehicle is included in the recall, you can take it to a dealer where they will update the HVAC control ECU software free of charge. You can take it into the dealer for an update that should be able to be done over the air. Or on their website, they give you a flash drive and you plug it into the car. Come on, folks. Give us some modern architecture. Come on, come on. Let's see. Oh, she's falling asleep. You can also contact the NHTSA hotline at 888-327-4236 or their website at nhtsa.gov. This is a fun one right here. Hang on. VW regarding Tesla supercharger access. Be patient. It should be coming this year. It should already be here. You've got it working on Audi and Porsche, and they're in the same group. What's the holdup? They should be ashamed of themselves. And they are working to fix it in that they've got Rivian doing all their work now, but it's not good. Lucid EVs are about to get more affordable, starting with the Gravity SUV. Why is that? Opening orders last November. Oh, they have a less expensive trim coming. That'll do the trick. Everything I've seen about it is a nice vehicle. BYD's Yang Wang launches an ultra swanky U8L SUV with 24 karat gold emblems. Don't worry, this one floats too. I can't say that it won't. The last Chinese vehicle we saw that said it could float didn't just float, it could drive, propel itself in the water. Toyota's new flagship EV is honestly pretty impressive, they say. All right, so from the side, it looks like a cross between the Model 3, Model S, and the Lucid Air. Let me get this up on screen for you guys. Share screen. There it is. All right, let's share that. Come back to you guys. And then adjust the layout. All right. I'm not allowed to go further to the right because the baby says no. Started wiggling when I tried that little shift. All right, so here we go. Oh! Sounds like Moto just dropped a whole cup of cranberry juice. Thank you. That's going to be sticky. I heard. She put it where? In front of the door. So you kicked it over? Yeah. And pure cranberry juice is rather expensive and not just sticky. So that'll be fun. Anyway, so like I said, this thing looks like a cross between the Model 3, Model S, and the Lucid Air. This is going to be the B27. Ooh, man, she's, the car? Hold on. I don't have the keys on me. I have to do it in the app. Taking a sweet time to unlock. There it goes. There we go. Oh, now I bumped the microphone out of alignment. So B27. Let's find out more about this thing. So it's a joint venture of China GAC. So is this not available worldwide? That explains why it looks a little bit like the Mazda. Interesting. They had a Mazda EV we talked about a couple weeks ago. A couple months ago by now, I think. Toyota, the new EV, has a luxurious and elegant future. Forgot to set the air. The Xiaomi's Smart Touch allows you to control it on the go. This sounds like a China-only car. You got Xiaomi, you got China GAC. Let's see what they say. Yeah, what people want in China. What? Your book fell down in the car?
Yeah, again.
Again? And again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so she's wearing the shirt that we're supposed to wear to Grandma's party. She doesn't get told no enough. I tell her no plenty, but she knows how to push buttons. Alright, so that's actually caught up to what I knew about for this site. Let's go ahead to another site and see what's going on. But this is interesting. Chevy's the fastest growing EV brand for a reason. The deals are hard to pass up. We'll consider them. Volvo Electric Wave will kill a few Western automakers. Which ones? Well, hopefully the fact that they're aware of it means they won't be one of them, right? We'll see. Hyundai is now delaying its EV battery plant that was rated by ICE. Who could have seen that coming? You have what they say, 300 people just hauled away. That does tend to change your timelines. Although it does also kind of make it really hard to do your pet project of bringing manufacturing back home if the factory can't get built. And according to Hyundai, the talent they needed to build the factory isn't available here. I'd say that's plausible because hauling people halfway around the world on at least a 20-hour flight, it doesn't seem to be as cost effective as flying them around the continent. So plausible. Let's go check out another site, see what's going on. Tesla owner promotes driving drunk on FSD video. Do not drive drunk. Do not have an open container in the car. "29-year-old social media personality went on comedian Bert Kreischer's cooking show. During the show, they were drinking, and he admitted to being drunk. Visibly intoxicated, he accepted another drink and then added, "Oh, I don't know what I clicked, but it went way down." Which seems suggestively hinting you can use it when... No, you cannot. And in fact, that was one of the things we were going to discuss today. They have a new drowsy mode. So if you start, weaving and bobbing, you get a little coffee cup icon similar to on the Mercedes. And they suggest you use FSD. And then they suggest that you just stop driving. Now some folks are like, well, turning on FSD while drowsy isn't the answer. It's better than them continuing to manually drive drowsy. Yes, you want them off the road. So I'd say it's the lesser of your choices there to have them on FSD than to have them weaving and bobbing over the road. And if they do fall asleep, then the car will stop. So it's not ideal. It's not ideal at all. But like I said, it's the one that's going to provide the more favorable outcomes. The only correct answer here could be no, driver assistance systems, and the driver is always responsible for the vehicle, and therefore they cannot be intoxicated to supervise the system. Correct. Instead, no, 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 no. Don't do this. If you're intoxicated, do not get behind the wheel. If you are with open container, do not get in the car. FSD gives you back time and energy, all while making roads safer for you and others. Yeah, that's true. A new Tesla owner might not be able to distinguish between autopilot and FSD. That's possible, but hopefully you know what you paid for. It's got nooks and crannies. Tesla employee. Wow. And he died. So yeah, definitely don't be using FSD and alcohol together. They don't go. Oh, isn't that cute? Honda launches the N1. Might as well put an E in there. NE1 instead of N1E. 18,000. Small EV that delivers big where it counts. The framing of this one is a little weird. U.S. EV sales smash records in August as Tesla loses ground. If the pie is getting bigger and everybody's getting pieces of pie, your piece of the new pies might not be as big. But everybody's getting more pie than they had before. So it's fine. Now, if the market contracts and you lose ground, then that's a different story. But it's not. So be happy for everybody else selling more, and hopefully Tesla was included in the increase. But we'll see when we look at the numbers. Ford hints that something big is coming after wiping its entire Instagram. Interesting. Is that time finally coming? We'll see the Ford electric Bronco we've been waiting for. It's up to a major rebranding. After deleting every post on its Instagram page, what is Ford up to? So I saw on a Ford truck channel they were looking at a Lightning with a appearance package. It's on the cheaper side, but it's made to look like their off-road monster. It's not, and not the Raptor, just the regular F-150 off-road. It's not really all that great off-road, he says, but it's got the looks. And if you weren't looking to get the top trim, you could save some money while still looking cool. I don't know if Ford's going to have any music on this. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Look at the eyes. Ford's up to something. Genesis is delaying this next generation EV. Well, I mean, if you don't have a plant to build it in, it makes it kind of hard, doesn't it? Okay, and then we spoke about the. Good evening, Anders. It's good to see you. Good evening. Sorry about my appearance. Like I said, I got my. What did I get? I got flu, COVID, and pneumonia vaccines all at once, and my joints they're aching. Let's see here. So we spoke about the Las Vegas event over at on Future House's channel, and then we talked about it again on the Tesla Life show. So it's pretty cool technology, but take a look at those programs. Nissan EVs will help power Silicon Valley's data centers. Really, that's interesting. Nissan and ChargeScape just launched a new EV to grid, so V2G pilot in Silicon Valley, where demand on power grid is growing fast thanks to the rise of rapid AI-driven data centers. The problem here is when you look at XAI's Colossus in Memphis, it runs on several megapacks. The cars, they have a lot of energy in them and a lot of power, but they are less so of both capacity and power than a megapack. Though you can move them around much easier because they drive. So I don't know which. Let's see what they do. Nissan's Advanced Technology Center in Silicon Valley. Energy stored in the EV batteries will be exported back to the grid during peak demand, and the bidirectional chargers will help handle the two-way power flow. They are Fermata Energy. ChargeScape will coordinate with the virtual power plant builder, Leap, to discharge energy. Okay, so not directly at the data centers like the megapacks, more like the VPP, the virtual power plant program. The pilot was part of Cityscape's larger California virtual power plant effort. The companies say that the project highlights how EVs can serve as grid resources, not just vehicles. And we keep saying this, and it's good to see that somebody's paying attention. Thank you. Is it one? No, here's the old one here. Did you see your toy? I fixed it for you. The doctor toy. No, the pink one. She said the rainbow one. I don't think she has any rainbow doctor toys. Massive EV discounts trigger a sell-off before the $7,500 credit runs out, and that's what we keep saying is you're running out of time. All right, let's go somewhere else with these. Let's share this tab instead. And let's take a look. Tesla discontinues the cheapest Cybertruck. Nobody wanted it. I won't say nobody. Although Elon did say nobody wants the Model S40 as I got my down payment together. What I didn't know at the time was that I should have just asked somebody to do it anyway, and I might have got myself a Model S60 capped at 40. No one wants the gutted electric truck. There's no hiding it. Cybertruck is commercial flop, he says. Tesla claims to have over 1 million reservations for a vehicle. It planned a production capacity of up to 250,000 units per year. And he believes it could increase to 500,000 units per year. Meanwhile, Tesla selling the Cybertruck at a rate of 20,000 units per year. 20 per year, that's a good bit lower than S and X, because I think they do 20 per month. They have capacity for 20 per month. The primary reason for testing how long it takes before I'm seen. The time is now 14:20. Yes, 14:20. There we go. The primary reason for the significantly lower than anticipated sales is that Tesla launched the Cybertruck at a higher price and with worse specifications than initially announced. Yes. The dual motor had better range and power than they promised, but a higher price. And the Cyber Beast was just, Cyber Beast was way out of proportion to what they led us to believe. And the base model was also higher than they told us, and severely decontented from what they led us to believe. And the primary reason is lower than anticipated. Launched the Cybertruck at a higher price. And to address this, Tesla introduced a more affordable version of the pickup at the Cybertruck rear-wheel drive in April. Instead of starting at 80, the all-wheel drive, like the all-wheel drive, the rear-wheel drive started at 70. Yeah, but the problem was they took off more than $10,000 of stuff, and that's why nobody wanted it. Relatively nobody. I know that some people bought it, obviously, but not enough for what they were trying to do. However, it was an even worse deal because Tesla had essentially stripped the vehicle of all of its most valuable features, including active air suspension, a motorized tonneau cover, and even the power outlets in the bed, in addition to removing a motor. Less than 5 months after launching the new vehicle, Tesla has discontinued the Cybertruck rear-wheel drive. Hopefully they bring it back as just a motor delete, just a all-wheel drive minus the front motor. Still for 10,000 less. I think that would sell great. If you look at the Model Y and the Model 3, that's traditionally done well. And even though they do sometimes decontent the rest of the car, they don't just strip mine it like they did with the Cybertruck. We're talking stuff people won't notice, like maybe the ventilated seats and 2 or 3 speakers, maybe some charge rate. That's what you needed to do to make a base model. Not. It wasn't even like a work truck. I mean, it would have been a work truck if they had gone maybe $30,000 cheaper, but I don't know that they have the headroom to do that. But at $30K off, people could add back some of the features that they wanted. Tesla hasn't replaced the variant with a new one. It just stopped taking orders. I don't know if anyone who ordered this, it's such a bad deal. There's already a small pool of Cybertruck buyers, but none of them will want to lose all those essential features for $10,000. Says Electric. Where does the Cybertruck team go from there? Does Tesla keep the vehicle program at just 20,000 units per year? Can they afford to? I think they may try to do an upgrade next year to bring it closer to what they originally promised. If they see, that would be fun, and see if there's more demand as a result. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what the comments are. They have not loaded. Let's click on the title. Maybe they'll kick them in. Nope. There's 145 comments, so let's refresh it. There we go. What do I think? I think you're wanting me to log on screen. I don't want to do that. One person's actively typing. Tesla's currently selling the Cybertruck at a rate of roughly 20 per year. It's highly unlikely. Sales have been sliding at EV credits going away. Well, the Cybertruck, only one of them ever qualified for the tax credit, and that was the rear-wheel drive. And now that it's canceled, you could probably still pick one up from in stock, but you won't be able to order one in time anyway, even if it were still offered. You have to wonder, given the cost to set up the production line and overhead to keep that line open, have they made any actual profit? Good question. They probably have some internal metrics to claim profitability, but only by excluding fixed costs. Maybe. A rule of thumb is that an ice factory hits profitability when output is 90% or more of capacity. Well, they're not there. EVs tend to hit gross profit at lower utilization rates. Look at Rivian. But there's still a lot of fixed costs to cover. Unless they're rolling them into Model Y. The idea that they could get a positive gross margin at 10% or less of utilization is comical. It's not impossible, but it's unlikely. Real reason it was very unprofitable. If that was the case, then that would mean they were selling too many of them. Or they were making too many of them. Not making them and not selling them, obviously. The more expensive version also probably unprofitable as a total product line, but they can't kill the whole product line without admitting it was a total failure. Semi looks, it's got around 50 units. If it were unprofitable by whatever metric they're using, then they would have discontinued the product. They didn't just fall off turnip trucks. I don't know how things work. It's more of a legal obligation to support existing autos, which parts for a certain amount of time, blah, blah, blah. There's that too. 3 types of vehicles. You buy from A to B. Buy to feel good about yourself. And you buy to show off. Tesla decided to do all 3 with Cybertruck. You can do at least 2 easily. A multi-year, multi-billion-dollar development. Interesting. Elon himself destroyed any chance that Cybertruck would never make it, would ever make it. His entry into drugs and politics, no one wants to own a symbol of that disaster. There are still, that's a view that's out there. Aren't there U.S. midterm elections in 26? What if he supports some Democratic candidates for a change? He's done that in the past. I don't know that he'll do it this time. Although he's put his new party on pause. Don't tell me you can predict his behavior, but you claim to predict Cybertruck sales depending on his past behavior. I mean, he can come out from under that. He doesn't seem willing to when you look at some of the stuff he says and does, but it's out there. You'd be surprised. Somebody said he can't turn coat like that. He kind of did to get there, and then he can easily do it to get back from there if he wants to. But again, he indicated he would rather do something else entirely, and time will only tell. We got to wait and see what he does. Yeah, that's another point. Is people still remember with the flip floppity. All right. So, oh wait, baby, don't knock my plate off. All right, so let's go on to something else. Share this tab instead. Oh, you had a bad dream? You're okay. You're okay. You just had a bad dream. Yeah, bad dream. But we're here. Want to say hi? Yeah. You still sleeping? You're okay. You're home. Yeah, you're okay. Yeah, close your eyes. You'll be fine. All right, so let's look at this electric Ram pickup. It's officially dead. So I'm curious, is it the Ram Charger still on, or because if they pulled out everything, that's not good. The all-electric Ram truck the company promised would offer more range, power, and capability than its rivals has officially been canceled for at least the U.S. Was it going to Canada, Mexico? Stellantis is blamed slowing demand for battery electric trucks in North America. Really? Have you been paying attention to Stellantis? Chevy and Ford and to a smaller extent Tesla have been eating up the electric truck market. You haven't even got anything on the ground to say that it's failing. The Ram Charger, an extended range electric vehicle, will take its place and now be called the Ram 1500 Rev. Also, not going to be called the Ram Charger anymore? Interesting. I thought Ram Charger was a good name. Stellantis is once again claiming that the Rev pickup truck will set new benchmarks in half-ton segment. It might, because the beauty of it is that it's like a bigger version of what the Volt promised to be. You've got all electric for most of your trips, and then you've got a small gasoline generator for the rest. So if you're towing, you don't need to stop as often. But obviously, if you stop at places that have chargers, you can operate for less money. So you'd still want to, even if you're towing, maybe when you stop for gas, you get gas and a charge, unless you're on some kind of schedule. Let's see. It was initially expected to arrive by the end of 2024, but was pushed back to 2025, then to 2026. That was the all-electric one. Earlier this year, it was delayed yet again until mid-2027, and now it's been officially canceled altogether. So we can't say you didn't see that coming. And this is definitely the Rev we're looking at, because I see two fuel doors. I got the electric charge up front, and then I've got the gas in the back. Electric pickup was expected to draw power from a massive 168 kilowatt hour battery, providing 350 miles of range, and an even bigger 229 kilowatt hour battery pack was expected to be available later, which the company said would produce at least 500 miles of range. Former CEO Carlos Tavares publicly boasted that several times that the Ram's electric truck would outperform all competitors where it matters, including range, towing, capacity, and charging times. So I guess they couldn't keep up with what he was promising. Top comment by Spec9 says, sadly, they are right. There is no need for yet another poor-selling full-size EV pickup. That does bring up the point that Brian's given us a few times that none of these are profitable. So that could be something. Because if if you're not already all electric and it's not a halo car, you can't afford to lose too much money on the product line. Let's see. But why has it taken over a decade into the plug-in era for this first plug-in hybrid pickup to launch, and it still hasn't launched yet? It's not a conspiracy theory guy. I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, but I kind of think that it's been collusion between the big three not to sell a plug-in hybrid pickup. It does kind of seem that way. But Tesla even canceled their range extender. Not that they would have ever made a gas range extender, but because that's the perfect drivetrain for such a full-size pickup trucks. But it will cut into huge profits they're making with a full-size ICE pickup. It doesn't have to. Meanwhile, the former Ram Charger, now the Rev, features a 92 kilowatt hour battery, much more reasonably sized and easier to source and everything like that. 3.6 liter V6 engine and a 27 gallon gas tank, and dual electric motors providing up to 690 miles of range, or what Ram CEO Kunis says, limited range. Yeah, if you keep filling it up. Ram says this was around 145 miles of electric range, which is still decent. And again, it still covers all of your around town stuff. The Rev is Ram's most powerful pickup with 647 horsepower, 610 foot-pounds of torque, and to give you a better idea, the 2025 Ram RHO performance truck only has 540 horsepower and 521 foot-pounds of torque. Yeah, it's electric. That's what happens is you get more. Like the Jeep Wagoner 5, the interior loaded with big screens, a 14.5-inch infotainment, 12.3-inch driver display, and 10.5-inch passenger display. The 1500 Rev is formerly the Ram Charger, expected to launch early in 26, and we'll learn the price closer to launch, but it's expected to be around $75,000. We'll see. Kind of tired of waiting on it, but if they do it, then I think it will sell well, especially for folks that do a lot of long distance towing, but also would appreciate not spending all of that money around town. And another one with the comments all whited out. So let's try again. No conspiracy. EREV pickup still needs an enormous battery. This one gets a 92 kilowatt hour battery. Think how much more expensive if they had to do it 5 years ago when batteries cost twice as much. Yeah, they could have done a smaller battery still, like the Volt, like where it was only good for 40 miles. I'm glad they didn't. They didn't compromise that much. It's still going to be very expensive, $60K or more, but 5 years ago it would have been much worse. Yeah, over $100K. That supports my conspiracy theory, bro. The big expensive battery makes it less profitable than an ICE. Yeah. Also, why the massive engine? All it has to do is keep the batteries topped up. Everyone else uses a 1.5 liter, and look at the tiny unit horse have just shown coming to a Renault or Geely in the near future. The problem is, if you need this extender, assuming that you're plugging it in every night, you're going to need the extender to continue towing, and a 1.5 liter is going to need to stop and take a break to recharge the batteries. If you're towing, I mean, yeah, you can tow lighter. Like say, hey, let's make it on the Rev. You can only do 3,500 pounds of towing, like a Rav4 or a CRV. Actually, I think they're 1,500 pounds really, but I think that's down to the frame, not that they can't handle it. I don't know. I think the Odyssey might have been 3,500. So, but they're V6. You can't. 1.5 liter won't do what they're selling the truck to do. So that's why. A Honda EU 3000 generator produces 1.5 kilowatt continuously, up to 3 kilowatt briefly from 196 cc 4-cycle engine that lacks emissions equipment. Oh, I see. I merged the two comments. So this guy's saying the same thing as me. The 1.5 won't keep up. F-150 Lightning reportedly gets about 0.9 miles per kilowatt hour at 65 miles per hour when towing, in the worst case. That's 1.1 kilowatt hours or 1.2 kilowatt hours per minute. 1.1 kilowatt hours per mile. Yep. And then the Honda generator. To get to 1.2 kilowatt hours a minute, you would need a 72 kilowatt generator or 48 of the Honda portable generators. I looked up 72 kilowatt generators, and they tend to use engines like the Cummins, the QS 8.4, sorry, 4.5. The turbocharged 4.5 liter diesel engine, they're able to use it in a 3.5 liter gasoline engine, shows that they're actually already doing better than off-the-shelf generator. As they should be, because they've been making engines since before the company existed. The Dodge brothers used to make engines for other people. So, it makes sense. They could use a smaller engine, but users aren't going to be happy with the engine starts once the battery starts. Once the battery's at 99%, and the battery still drains while the engine is running. Yeah, they expect some amount of electric range with the battery kicking in after the engine kicking in after the battery is mostly drained. It might be reasonable to do something like a 3 liter or 2.5 liter engine if they accept that the vehicle will have to stop once the battery reaches 0% or when operating near 100% load. Yes, but it's going to be harder to explain to their customer base. They've cultivated a certain customer base that will not accept that. Although, I guess if they were to do it as a work vehicle, they could temper the expectations, I guess, but they're not. Users aren't going to be happy if they have to stop operating near 100%. Users aren't going to be... oh, he said it twice. I had to stop on the side of the road and let the truck idle to recharge the battery. Yeah, that's true. Look at all the complaints about the BMW i3 that when that happened. It's a similar mindset about the continuing on that they've cultivated in their customers as well. But most users probably aren't pushing the truck to its payload limits. That's another good point there. They could do that and know that most people aren't going to have the problem. However, you have the people who bought it to use 100% and the people who don't watch their numbers who are exceeding the limits, which is also not good. Someone towing a boat might get more than 1.5 to 1.9 miles per kilowatt hour and would need 35 to 45 kilowatt generator. Yep. With an E-Rev, you need nearly the same engine size as if it were a regular pickup. If you want to do all the regular pickup things, like towing when the battery is run down. I don't know their thinking, but I would guess that they want the ICE drivetrain to be able to tow uphill even when the battery is discharged. The BMW i3 was notorious for being woefully underpowered when the battery pack was dead. Yeah, so I use the same example. And that one I think was a 1.5 liter. It might have been 750. They know the very first thing every single truck-oriented magazine and every truck-oriented internet content creator is already storyboarding tests to get it to fail a towing test by overloading it and trying to duplicate the i3 failures. Yes. They not only have to make it idiot-proof, they have to make it intentionally idiocy-proof. Yes. Excuse me. I just lost my screen. Where'd you go, screen? Give me no signal. Come back. Oh, you turned off. That's not good either. Oh. All right, there's the camera. Everything's jumping around. All right, you guys are back. Is the video gone or is the video still here? Let's see. All right, we still got video. And I've talked with some of the folks who consult with Sterling. Oh, sorry, Stellantis. I need to increase the font size again. Or the brightness. And they say it's purely because of the consumer perception. Yes, exactly. The tiny four-cylinder out of the Fiat 500 could work, but then the average Ram buyer thinks that the truck can't do anything because it's got only a four-cylinder gas engine. Yeah, but if they run it at 90% throttle, it won't be so bad. Hey, RJ the Jarring is in the audio chat. Hello. Let's see. There we go. It's not clicking when I click. Okay, so I still think that this is this is going to sell well whenever they bring an extended range EV pickup to market. The problem is Chevy and Ford could both beat them to market. Let's go ahead and allow it. There we go. Hi, RJ.
Hello.
How you doing?
I think you've been reading an article about like a truck.
Read an article. Oh, sorry, my your volume's a little low.
Oh,
sorry. There you go.
But yeah, I take it you were listening to or you were reading an article about a truck.
Yeah, the Ram Charger is now the Ram E-Rev, so extended range pickup.
A Ram. I forget. Like, is Ram like a car manufacturer, or is that like a model, or what?
Yeah, it used to be the Dodge Ram. Now it's just Ram.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the third place to Chevy and Ford pickup trucks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they were these.
I don't know. I don't know very much about cars.
That's okay. So these folks were complaining about that the engine was too big, and they were saying that that the buyers of the Ram would be upset if the engine was too small, because then you'd have to kind of give it a rest every now and then to let it catch up, or you'd have to have the thing running at like 90% throttle anytime it wanted to run the engine, and that could make a mess.
So they gotta like strike a balance, yeah.
Exactly. And so they went with a small sized V6, like out of a minivan, and that seems to have done the trick. She sleep again?
Cool.
Playing? Hmm? Yeah. Yeah. So my wife was checking on the sleeping baby. Yeah. So I think that's. We'll have to wait and see. I still think that they've taken so long to make this thing that I wouldn't be surprised to see like a Lightning Rev or a Silverado Rev come out out of left field that nobody expected and beat them to market, because they just pushed back another year. So we're looking at 2026 before this truck comes out. It was supposed to be here this summer. But I still like that it's got like a.
So,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, so how have you been? Because I've been off of X for about like 6 months now.
Yeah.
And I recently came back, and I do remember your PSP. Like, I do remember your name, but I don't really remember much about you.
It's okay. I've been trying to keep up with school and work, and I haven't been on regular X as much as I like to be. But I've been doing these at least still every Sunday. But I found that I could do the video stream, and then sidecar the spaces with the equipment I've got, and so kind of like a call-in like radio show type thing, and I enjoy it.
Nice.
Yeah. And then they let go some more people at X, and so the quality of the space product went down for a while, but it seems they've mostly got it in check. every now and then they'll put me on like a 40-second delay, which makes it hard to have a conversation.
Well, 40 second, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, even a 15-second delay on streams, it's like, oof.
yeah. I don't know any way to fix it either. I mean, I guess I could end them and start them again, but usually by the time they've hit them, it's like I've already finished the news for the week.
Ah,
Yeah. So let's see. So that was the Ram Rev. Here we've got one where VW is sued over the touch buttons involved in fatal crashes. I can see this a little bit because you had the two window operations on one. So you have four windows but just two buttons, and then you have everything on the touchscreen, kind of like the Volt, but aimed at the mass market, not just tech nerds. And that could be dangerous, especially if somebody gets frustrated or they're looking for something like the defroster, and they can't find the button, and then they crash the car. So we'll wait and see how that one turns out. And then this one is interesting.
yeah.
Toyota is using old EV batteries to power Mazda's car factory. But why is Toyota at Mazda's factory? Used battery packs from electric and hybrid cars are being repurposed by Toyota in Japan. Toyota's sweep energy storage system. Oh, okay, that's why they're the only ones who have what Mazda was trying to buy. That's why. Toyota's sweep energy system, which uses high voltage car batteries, was implemented at Mazda's Hiroshima plant. Okay. The modular system was designed to act as a buffer between the factory's power outlets and assembly line. That still makes sense because if they bought Tesla Megapacks, it would probably be better for them, but then they wouldn't be keeping it in house because the units would probably come from China. Because unless they specify that they must come from California, but that would add to the expense. And I'm sure that Toyota was getting some subsidies from Japan, and Mazda could get some subsidies from Japan, and that would make them the least cost choice. So I can see them making that choice. Handing high voltage batteries from hybrid.
So your space.
Hmm?
So your space is it's kind of like you're doing kind of like a radio talk show type deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like with random, it's like any random like person can walk in and say hello.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty interesting idea.
I think so. It's pretty fun. We came to some pretty fun discussions a couple times. There was one week where this guy tried to run away with the show, and I wasn't. I thought my moderators were still on, and they weren't. And so I was just like still going with it, but they had been gone because the system had bumped them out, and I didn't know it. I was like, well, there must be a reason they haven't let him out yet. And so once I learned to keep an eye on that, it's been I haven't had any more that got out of hand. There was one guy who tried, and they were in, and they booted him. But it's been pretty fun.
Is it okay if I ask you something?
Yes.
So, do you have like a certain do you have any like philosophy on what makes a good car a good car?
Well, it's got to suit the reasons you bought it. It's got to have the ability to be as reliable as you're expecting it to be, and then I like them to be safe enough in a collision to get you into the next one.
Yeah, of course, safety is very important.
Yeah, but if you buy it for fun, it needs to be fun, and if it's not, then it's failed. And if you bought it to do anything and it's always in the shop, then it's not a very good car. Unless you like get a classic and you do like just constantly renting on them, that's a whole different story.
So, would you say that your philosophy would be to understand the purpose for behind each individual car purchase?
Exactly, and that's why I was thinking that this the Ram truck we were just talking about is a good idea. There are plenty of excellent electric pickup trucks on the market right now, but there are none that will allow you to just endlessly tow across the country, tow heavy across the country. And if you're towing something moderate, then the Rivian, the Tesla, and the Ford and Chevy will allow you to do that if you're willing to go to the restroom and recharge, rather than use a dehydration technique and then try and iron butt it all the way across the country, because they literally cannot do that. It takes at least 15 minutes to get some charge back in the tank.
So the electric truck, it's like completely electric.
All but this Ram, they're all fully electric, and the Ram would be also fully electric, but it would be with a gasoline backup generator, like a little extra power plant. And they're all
So
pretty
not
cool.
like a backup engine, but like a backup generator.
Yeah, backup generator,
Okay.
exactly. And they even showed that there was no physical connection between the generator and the wheels. In the past, there have been some that claimed to be that, but if you looked, they were more like I called them Fat Prius. Like I had a pair of Volts, and if you went over 100 miles an hour, or if you got the charge just right and we're going like 45 to 60 miles an hour, it would slip in the engine right there directly to the wheels. It was more efficient, but because it was doing that when the battery went completely flat, it didn't feel right when it was driving, because it would kind of slop around there when you got to those points where it would normally rely on the battery to boost the engine. But like the BMW i3, it never could. Assuming you got the one with the engine, it could never engage it because it was like a motorcycle engine in the back trunk area, and so it would just send power, just like this truck is claiming. The problem was with the way they programmed it, the engine didn't turn on soon enough, and because it was so small, like say you tried to go up the grapevine and you didn't plan ahead and push a button. Well, actually, first you would have to hack it to push the button, because in the U.S. They removed that feature in the U.S. because they wouldn't have got all their tax credits. But in Europe, say you tried to climb a mountain like the grapevine, and you didn't have enough charge ahead of time from pushing the button on time, then you'd have to be in the truck lane with your flashers on, doing 30 miles an hour up the mountain. And BMW buyers don't expect to go 30 miles an hour on the highway for any reason, unless it's just congestion.
Right.
Yeah. So that's part of the reason why Ram is doing the large engine. But like their buyers have the same philosophy. They won't be doing 30 while towing unless they've overloaded it, and it makes sense not to have to warn them ahead of time, because as that one commenter was saying, the press is ready to run them over the coals. So you don't want to give them that ammunition against yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that like having a backup electric generator for an electric car, I think that's a pretty interesting idea.
Yeah.
Is the electric generator like strong enough to basically keep up with the power drain while the car is driving?
On the Volts and on this Ram, yes. On the BMW, it was not even close, because their sales point was they wanted you to have about 100 miles of battery charge, and then about 80% of that as gasoline backup. But this was also really early. We're talking like 2013, 2014. The technology was not where it is today, and it was more expensive. So today, the way they would solve that is just put a big enough battery in it, and that you can go 300 to 500 miles without needing to haul around a motorcycle in the back. But
So having the bigger battery, like, would that be heavier than
it
having
would.
the backup gasoline?
Yeah, it's kind of like the rocket equation. Like you have more battery to go further, but you need more battery to carry the battery.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like, hey, we want to go further, faster, harder with this rocket. Okay, you're gonna need more rocket fuel to carry for the engine, but now you're gonna need more fuel to carry the fuel, and it's a delicate balance.
Yeah.
But thankfully, it's a little more forgiving than
Yeah.
going straight up. So what we found the sweet spot is get about 300 to 350 miles in the battery using current technology. And that gives you like all the exceptional road trips that people want to take. Most of the trips are around 40 to 50 miles an hour, miles in a day. And so if you can go 10x that, then most people never need to touch that. But if you can make it so they can keep going at a regular just bio break, if they can stop for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then get back hundreds of miles of range and keep on going, then that is plenty sufficient as long as you make the recharges affordable. 'Cause some of them are so fast and use so much energy that they have to charge more because they're well into the demand charge territory. Like yeah, you can get back 500 miles in 10 seconds or 10 minutes, but it's going to cost you. But if you can get back 200 miles in 15 minutes, by the time you've gone to the bathroom and ordered some food, your food's not even ready. I mean, your food's not even ready by the time the car's texting you, "Hey, time to go, let's get out of here." And you're like, "Hold on, I paid for this burger, I'm gonna get it."
So do EV cars really charge that fast?
They do, they totally do. So mine is an older model, and I get about 180 kilowatts peak, and I usually average over 100 kilowatts. But towards the end, it'll dip down to about it's doing about 80 kilowatts by the time I unplug it, and it can go lower. But I find that if I go below 80, then it's faster just to go to the next stop and plug in again, where it's going to go over 100. The reason they slow down is so they don't either don't destroy the battery or they don't catch fire. It's like if you're filling a bucket from like a garden spigot or a hose bib outside the house, and if you spill a drop, it'll catch fire because you're filling the bucket with gasoline for some reason. Uh, so you don't want to spill even a single drop, and so that's why they slow it down that way. Because if you have a spillage in a battery, it's a fire. So they want to avoid making that mistake, which is good. So you're looking at the slowest ones don't do that, but they also don't sell all that well. There was a version of the Nissan Leaf that only let you do one fast charge per day, and so people complained, rightfully so, about that. It's like, hey, I'm out of town, 3 towns over, I need to charge twice, and they're like, well, the next one's gonna be really slow. But that was a side effect of them not putting in a ability to cool down their electronics. It was just radiators. There was no fans or anything, so it was not smart. But everybody else liquid cooled their batteries, so they can run the pumps just like a regular car would, just run the pumps and the fans. Or these guys usually are smart enough to put in where you can run the air conditioner. It's got a whole separate zone. So if you got dual zone or tri zone, there's a whole zone just for the battery, and they can either pre-cool them or reactively cool them down to keep them going fast enough to keep you on the road, which is the right way to handle it. All
Are
right,
you getting a phone call?
I was, but it's just people trying to tell me about my car's extended warranty.
Oh. So yeah, you seem pretty knowledgeable about the car industry, and like I am curious, like if you have any thoughts on hydrogen as an alternate fuel source for cars.
I don't think it's ever going to work, not with the technology that we have, because the numbers don't work. You lose over 30% of the energy each time it gets processed, and it gets processed like 4 or 5 times before you get to put it down to the ground. So to spend the equivalent of about $36 a gallon to run your car, we saw it with the Toyota Mirai and the Hyundai. The Hyundai had a scientific name just because they weren't trying to sell it all that hard, but they would run into cases where the station either didn't have enough charge, because you had to get them up to the right amount of pressure to actually operate. So the station either didn't get to their full pressure, so they run around with half a charge all the time, or sometimes the station would freeze the nozzle to their car, and they'd have to wait 15 minutes for it to defrost so they could leave. And all of this while you're paying 36 to the gallon equivalent. It's like a slap in the face. It's like I'm giving you primo for this fuel, and you're treating me like trash. And then there were some folks, like in Southern California, there was a station that blew up, and that was the only station near them, so they couldn't even use the car. So for some of the people, Toyota did the right thing and loaned them a gas car to use until the station came back. But I guess it was depending on your dealer situation, because I remember a story about a young man who his station also wasn't available. I don't know if it was the same one or if it just closed down, and they didn't make it right by him. So he was having to pay his payment on the hydrogen car and rent a gas car, which was not good financially. And then Shell pulled out of it. They closed all their stations, and I don't know if they sold them off to somebody or if they were just done. I'm not saying it can't ever work, but the with current technology, the math just isn't there.
So like how so like with the hydrogen fuel, like are you saying like it comes in like liquid hydrogen or what?
One more time, sorry. I was making noise over here.
No, so like you know so in like what form is the hydrogen fuel? Is it like liquid hydrogen or is it in like a solid state in a fuel cell or like?
I believe it's still gaseous, just because it's easier to compress a gas. You can't easily compress a liquid, and then of course you have to maintain the low enough temperature to keep it liquid. And not saying that we can't do it, because there were not zinc batteries. There was a battery many years ago, back before the modern EV fully came back. There was a battery that had to be kept at like 300 degrees Celsius, and if you didn't do that, the battery would start to solidify, and then you'd have to wait about 3 days for it to melt again so you could use it again. So that was a choice. But the beauty of that one was, aside from having to keep it super hot, is that it didn't have as much wear and tear and degradation as the lithium ions did at the time. But we've improved on that, and the lithium ions, they lose about 5% in your first couple of years, and then maybe by the time mine is 7, almost 8 years old, and it's just at 8% capacity loss with 105,000 miles on the clock.
So a battery that would have to be kept at 300 degrees Celsius.
Mm-hmm.
Like I imagine that probably would be inefficient with like how much energy you need to constantly pump into the system to keep it that hot.
Exactly. Plus the 3 days to thaw it back out if you if you wanted to. If say you ran out of charge and it took too long to get it plugged in again, so that didn't last all that long. You can get the exact temperatures if you look up the Ford Think. That's what it was, THINK, and I think that the I was an exclamation mark. I think they also went by City Think. But that was a choice, and it wasn't the only one that did it. I believe Zebra made that battery, and they weren't the only ones to use it. But that's just one that you can easily find that had it as an option.
Yeah, I think it's like an interesting like oddity that something like that can exist, but not very practical.
Yeah, it was the best that they had to offer at the time for folks who were looking for fast charges and great longevity of the pack. But like you noticed, it would cost a lot to keep it running, and it had those downsides of what to do during an event. So,
I mean, if it was the kind of thing where you could just like quickly heat it up and charge it, and then go and then let it cool down, and then just kind of like reactivate it with heat
exactly.
every time you needed it, I suppose that would have been like more practical.
Yeah.
But you said you need to like you spend 3 days to thaw it out. Right?
Yeah, it's like, oh, I ran out of charge. I'll see you next week. Why'd you let it run out of charge? You know what happens. It's like I didn't have a choice. There's only 3 chargers in this country. Um, it was a wild west back then. My friend Patrick and we used to carry all sorts of just adapters for any situation. I haven't used an adapter in almost 3, 4 years now, which is fine. The
Yeah.
Teslas currently do this. And I believe the Hyundais do too. They still do heat up because when you're on your way to a station, if they hit a certain temperature of heat, they can accept a charge faster. And so you'll notice that if you use the map and you're like, hey, I need to go to Disney World and you're in New York City, they'll say, stop here, stop here, stop here. And as you approach those stops, they'll say, hey, we're conditioning the battery now to accept a faster charge. So instead of charging at, 1,000 miles, instead of charging at, 200 miles an hour, it charges at 1,000 miles an hour. So even faster at, you've gone to the restroom and then the car's like, let's go.
So with electric vehicles, like with the batteries, like are the batteries like very stable, or are there cases of venting?
They're pretty stable. There have been some cases where, just like any car, you put that much energy in a small space, and there will be fires. It's just less of them than gas, and less of them than hybrids. The problem is, I'm guessing with hybrids is that you have all the same stuff that could make an electric car catch fire, and all the same stuff that can make a gas car catch fire together. So that's why they catch fire more
Yeah,
than gas or electric. But the fires are
yeah, I
rare.
can see that.
Yeah. Usually to make that happen, you have to run them into something or run over something, like something that impacts the bottom of the vehicle aggressively.
Have some kind of impact or collision.
Exactly. Then the other more common cause of them. There's a room for you. Oh, you want to walk over here? I will walk over here after the show, okay? Yeah? Be careful. I can't reach you from there. You can't walk? Hold on, let me turn off the screen real quick.
While you do that, I'll still be here, but I'm gonna step out for a second.
Oh, we're not ready to do stickers. We're talking to our friends online. But you know that. You can get a sticker when I'm done. Yeah, I'll get you a sticker. What? Well, let's look at your stickers and see if you can have a book. Is it with me or are you done? You done? Okay. Is this with me? I'll see you soon, okay? Alright, you want to stay in the room? Alright, well, I gotta put this back up so we can turn on the screen. Okay. Let's turn on the screen again. Okay. There we are. So we were talking about fires, and we were talking about speed of recharge. Where do we leave off?
Yeah. Yeah, right. Well, I was just asking about the odds of battery venting and the electric cars, and you said that they're pretty stable.
Very stable, yeah. Oh, the other case of making them go up is poor repairs. So if somebody tries to do a repair on their own and they don't know what they're doing, or if the mechanic misses a step, which is rare for it to happen with a factory car, but it's also rare to happen with a certified mechanic. But people make mistakes.
Of course.
Are you done with us, baby? What's up? You want out? You want to sit with us? No? All right, I'm going to turn off the screen again. I'm going to let you out, okay? Love you. There we go. My wife doesn't like the camera just bearing down on the house because it doesn't always filter out what's going on behind me. So I've got a green screen, but we've also got the playpen in this room, and so it makes it so you can't walk in between the screen and me like we used to be able to before the playpen. Oh, you're awake? You heard your sister? Yeah. She woke you up. Well, I'm glad you're not mad about it. No, she's like a rage demon when somebody wakes her up. You say hi on the microphone? Yeah, I'm talking it. She moved it down to my mouth. Thank you, baby. Yeah, this microphone is 20 years old. It's good quality, isn't it?
Damn.
Yeah. I got it when I first started podcasting. Your sister sounds like she needs a nap. She's over there bothering mommy. I hear her whining. There we go. Okay, so we were talking about electric cars, yes, but Toyota, what they're doing is their programs, they're using recycled batteries that came out of retired electric cars and hybrids to power this Mazda factory. And not just Mazda, because Nissan and Chevy had a similar program where they would take old batteries, put them in a container, and then use that to power industry.
So when you say recycled batteries, do you mean just kind of like reused?
Yeah,
Or
just
is it
straight up
more like
reused.
they're broken down. Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, they don't break them down. Not the Chevy and Nissan ones anyway, and Toyota too. What they do is so say it was a 100-mile battery, and and that was fine for you, but you actually need at least 50 miles to do your stuff. So once the battery is old enough and can't handle to get that 50 miles anymore, it still can do serious work on the grid. And so they just rather than breaking them down, they just put them in another container to combine like 10 of them together. So now you've got 10 batteries that are worth 50 miles at a time. And they don't need to go as hard or as fast as stop accelerating from a green light to or from a red light to a green light. And you can kind of plan like, all right, this factory has this much load at lunchtime, this much load at peak, and then you can just have enough of them together that you can then get another lifetime out of them before you have to actually physically break them down and recycle them. And then what Tesla does is a little different than the rest. In their containers, they use new batteries, and so same thing though. You want to plan them for your load and use case that theirs just last longer, and then just like their cars, when their grid batteries are done, they recycle them. This company called Redwood, by one of Tesla's co-founders, that they have these techniques to take the old batteries and break them down to their components, and instead of having to remine all the materials, they can just mine the dead batteries to make new ones. And then they found that they, being scientists, have found that remanufactured batteries from recycled from originals, they actually have better power, better retention, better lifespan than when the first time they were batteries. Which is, I don't really understand how it works, but it's really cool. A couple friends of mine have suggested that she's sticking her tongue out at me. I've suggested that it's a better purity because you're mining it again, and so your filters aren't clogging up as fast as they are when you're filling them with rocks.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like with the lithium, it's lithium ion, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like elemental lithium. Needs
Exactly.
to be mined.
Yeah, so just like aluminum cans and lead batteries.
It's always going to be mixed. Yeah, and it's always going to be like mixed in with like other materials, other elements, and it's like you gotta like get the purity, right?
Exactly. And then one thing that they hinted at in the study that I abstract of the study that I looked at is that it seems to be easier for them to land in the right crystal structure, and they don't seem to want to form dendrites, which are these weird little spikes that try to go across the membrane that keeps the positive and negative side separate from each other. And so that also helps to go with the purity that the others suggested.
So, so in a way, like when you are recycling the materials of the battery, it's kind of like making a better version of it, right?
Exactly.
Like more of like a premium version.
Exactly. At least on the second time. I don't know about the subsequent times, but I'd assume that it all still applies. They just didn't have any third and fourth time generation batteries to test on for that particular test. They were looking at brand new and one time reuse, which is still impressive to see how much it went up. And that was using, they didn't have as much technology for recycling as they do today. Because every time they learn how to
Yeah.
make a new one, they also know how to make a new one that much better as well, or a renewed one that much better from what they learned in the new ones.
Yeah. So I always have my mind on AI, and I'm just curious, like how involved is like AI and software in the designing and engineering of vehicles?
I would say, depending on the manufacturer, is pretty well involved. Like if it's Tesla, they own an AI company,
Right.
and then of course their majority owner also owns another AI company. So I imagine they would help out if needed. And then listening to some old industry execs, some of them are a little more traditional. Uh, they might not use as much, but I can't imagine they're at zero anymore if they want to keep up.
Yeah, because like I imagine like AI would be good at like running like for example like wind resistance simulations, right?
Exactly. Somebody was demonstrating how much better their fluid dynamics got just by increasing their compute and allowing a little bit of, I don't know if it's, I mean, still it's type of AI. I don't know what type of AI they want to call it, but by having that, they they were able to make the next more aerodynamic car in a fraction of the times what it normally takes them.
Yeah. So it's like an AI, but it's like not like, but it's a separate AI from like the AI that we've all become more familiar with, and that's like the linguistic AI. Like
Exactly.
these
Yeah. So
AIs,
like
like they're
ChatGPT.
non-linguistic. You're not gonna communicate with them saying hello, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna do your model and you're gonna put it in. It's gonna say, hey, here's the results of what you gave me, and here's some tweaks you can do to make it a little better. But it won't say it in English like that. It'll just be like, here, here's scenario 3 and 4 if you
Yeah,
try
it will
these.
communicate and express itself through like the data, right?
Yeah, and you won't be able to ask it, well, why is B and C better? It just say B and C are better. Do it, and then you got to test it again. Like you got to make your new clay model and try it out. But at least you're only making one new clay model instead of 30.
Yeah.
And each of those clay models is expensive. Like we're talking anywhere from 50,000 to 300,000. So I mean, I know they got it, but I mean, you're talking a couple people's salary if you could skip them.
Yeah, I guess there is always like the cost consideration of like how much does it cost to run these models and how effective are they versus like just using traditional brain power,
Right, but that's what they were saying is that it is so much more effective because to make the 30 models would take hundreds of hours, and you got to pay the firm that makes them for you or the team that makes them for you versus the computer. You give it what you want to do, and then the computer gives you the two alternatives to try out. You build those two and see if they're what you want, and you've saved lots of time and lots of money and literal tons of clay. That's how they're able to get so many more of these cars out in under the 6 year cycles now. Because it used to be always 6 years at a minimum if you were just speed running a car. And some of them now they're able to get out in like 3 or 2 years from scratch.
Yeah. So I forget what's it called when someone has like extensive study and expertise in like two separate fields.
Um, I imagine it's gonna be something like a polyglot. It won't be that, but because that's just two languages. But
Oh, like a polymath. Oh, like a polymath.
yeah, like polymath. Maybe just multiple disciplines to me, subject matter expert.
Yeah. So like I imagine that like more and more fields like going into the future will require like people that like have like that expertise in like two separate fields.
Yeah,
Like if you're like designing AI models for car design, you also have to know car design, right?
exactly, exactly. Give a shout out to Timothy. Greetings, e-cars and ebooks. Yeah. So you're right. To being able to combine either two full disciplines or one with enough of another one, or being able to communicate with somebody who's an expert in that second thing will benefit the team. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then of course you'll need more of them if you're not on the team but you're just making the program. So you'll need to. All right. So these guys are using this, but the designers are really giving them that. So you need to talk designer. You need to talk engineer. You need to know the fluid dynamics math, and it makes it interesting. There's a lot of opportunity out there still. The problem is now there's currently basically a freeze on entry level, which makes it harder to get people in and get to the experience before the older folks retire out, which the brain drain is very real. I've been in a couple organizations where somebody has a lot of the institutional knowledge and then they retire. And depending on what's going on, sometimes they'll try and bring the person back for a little bit, or or it's just gone. Depending on they don't always retire for the knowledge to be gone. And so we're at a weird balance right now in industry, all sorts of industries, to make sure that we have new people to do the work and learn the work, and it's quite interesting.
Yeah, there's always that social question of like how do we ensure that there's an abundance of the opposite of brain drain,
Exactly.
the brain prosperity.
Exactly. Yeah, Slimy was telling me at the beginning of the stream about how they wanted to make sure that the kids in her school are have good work ethic, and I was like, well, that's very important right now because when you look at the folks doing the run right now, their first time out of college, first time out of high school, and they're trying to get their first entry level professional job. There was a guy on a program I listened to that he was doing 20 a week, and he'd been at it for a year and still hadn't got even a call back. He got a couple of the oh, we'll put you on another list, or hey, we're full, but nothing like, hey, how would you like to come in on Thursday?
Yeah, and about like teaching a good work ethic, there's also the question of like how much of that is the responsibility of the education system versus how much is that responsibility of
The parents?
the individual parents.
Yeah, there's a little bit of it because the school is closer to what they're going to find at the employers. It's going to be a mixture of you've
Yeah.
got old school and new school, but you still got to know how to communicate effectively with both. The parents need to teach them the basic morals. Like you don't steal, you don't lie, you don't cheat, and school can help a little bit with that, but it shouldn't be expected to. It should just be assumed that you're not going to be doing those things. And
Yeah.
but then you've got the financial uncertainty is like some of the places do want to hire, but they don't know what's going to happen. Like they bring this person on, and then now they've got to carry them through a downturn, and I get the trepidation with not knowing what's going on with the economy right now, but they the ones that are like, oh yeah, AI will fix it. Like yeah, AI will help the people who know how to use form the questions, but it won't do everything, and it can't create from scratch. It has what it's what it's good at, and you're still going to need fresh people to learn your stuff. Like, yeah, they're not perfect now, but when you let Bob at his 55 years in the industry go out the door in 5 years. Um, you never got Susie to replace him to shadow him to learn how to do the role. So now you're going to complain that we got all these new people who don't know how to do the stuff. Like, yeah, you never gave them a chance, and now they're trying to make it up as they
Yeah,
go
and
along.
AI can do a lot.
Yeah,
And AI can do a lot, but it's very dependent on the person using it if they know what to do with it.
yeah, garbage in, garbage out. Like if they don't even know what they're asking for, then it can't even try to do they give an example of entry level programmers versus now they have some mid grade programmers that are able to uh, do the work of extra, like do their own work and then do like 2 or 3 entry levels at the same time, which is fine. But once that mid guy goes up, he's got his experience, and you never replaced either of them. Uh, Now your company is looking at hard times when the elder retires because you don't have any. You didn't even have interns, like the free intern program that somebody used to try. So it's gonna be an interesting couple of years to
And
watch this stuff play out for sure.
oh yeah, and I'm sure you and I could both agree that critical thinking is incredibly important.
Oh yes,
But I also like to go like one step past critical thinking and just kind of imagine more of like complex thinking.
yeah, absolutely. It's understanding systems and interactions, that's important too. And that one,
Yeah,
you only learn it 2 places. You're gonna learn it in school, and you're gonna learn it on the job at the guidance of an expert. I mean, you can
yeah,
pick it up by trial and error as you go, but it's not going to be enough of your staff that get it that way. It's gonna just like
yeah.
at the factories, for instance, they have you spin the factory up, and it takes a minute before they're running at full speed, and then you're like, okay, we'll just copy this and we'll make a new factory, and you're like, well, why is this new factory so much worse than the old factory? You didn't send anybody from the first factory to train the people at the new factory. That's why you're starting from scratch again.
I'm just reminded of like this one line from the Witcher 3 game,
Yeah,
where basically it's like don't train alone because you'll only embed your
exactly.
errors.
Yeah, perfect practice makes perfect, not just practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and having like another person to learn things with like gives you like it's another pair of eyes to kind of catch your mistakes, and if that other pair of eyes is very experienced, then they'll know what's up.
Exactly, like iron sharpening iron is another way to describe it as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but we'll see how everybody weathers this. We see some of the folks that tried AI only are pulling back, which I think is a good move. It's a valuable tool, the various versions and flavors of AI, but they can't,
Yeah,
at least right now, they can't be exclusively. They're not. None of them are designed to be creative. They're all designed to be either iterative or copy-ish, or
they're
obviously it depends
designed to
on
be effective, but
exactly. Yeah,
not creative.
yeah,
But yeah, like the way I like to think about it is that it's never going to completely replace the human element,
right,
but it is a good but it is a good collaborator.
exactly. Yeah, but then you also have to look at the inputs. So if it's not using its resources well, like you got not thankfully not too many of them use pure fresh water, but I was listening in on some folks talking about a new plant that uses sewage as its cooling, and it's like, hey, there you go, you're not wasting fresh water there, and there's plenty of sewage. And then we talked about one over in the UK that uses the community pool to cool itself, and so basically they get a heated pool in the wintertime, and the data center gets
So
water to cool off with.
so when we're talking like sewage cooling, or talking like raw sewage or like filtered,
I'm not sure.
like the first stage of processing.
I'm not sure. It could be heat exchangers, like with the nuclear The reactor water never touches the fresh water that comes in to cool them. So it could be like that,
Okay.
or like you said, it could be filtered water that's going through. Because I imagine you don't want somebody's fatberg running through and clogging up your, your cooling line. It's like, why do we go down?
Oh, actually, I did. I did read recently, well, semi recently, about there being new consumer level technology being developed, like new consumer cooling technology for solid state cooling,
Oh, cool. Um,
like a solid state fan, basically.
yeah. If I was seeing, I've read about them, saw them, and then Linus's show featured them at least 2 or 3 times about how many modules you need to replace a fan, and then like how effective they were. And I don't know what's taking them so long. Is it them spooling up, or
I don't know.
is it the cost?
But like the way I understand it, like it's just essentially like a vibrating membrane that you
Exactly.
wear around.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, exactly what it is. And it just vibrates in such a way that it generates airflow, but it's very effective. So you don't need a whole fan. You don't need even as much heat sink. It's pretty darn cool.
Yeah, and it's not a moving part either. That
Yeah,
like,
I do wonder though,
has
since it is.
mechanical failure.
So I was about to say, I wonder though, since it is like vibrating. I wonder if it has a wear out. Like solid state drives have wear outs. They don't move at all, but they do eat themselves to bits after you use them enough times, which
Well,
thankfully is
I
getting longer and
imagine
longer.
that the vibrating membrane, the membrane would probably wear out eventually.
Yeah, but if it's good for like 10 years, well, who cares that it wears out? I'm not gonna have the device in 10 years. Or if
Yeah,
it
but
is something bigger like a car or an oven that you might have in 10 years, they just say, hey, at year 8, you need to replace these units, please, and then they just have them on hand.
yeah.
So you're well rested, baby. You sound it. Huh? What? What do you see? Oh, you do? Hi. What's up? What are you doing? Don't break it. Yeah, it's up. Yeah, don't put your fingers in that. You tell mommy that Mako wants to play, please. Oh, there she is. You say, mommy, mommy, mommy. Look at that smile. You're gonna break it or hurt your hands. Don't be careful now. Yeah, she's done with me. Have fun, baby. Watch your fingers, one time. All right. So, one less baby in hand. Let's see. So we were talking about this Toyota Mazda situation here. This is a sweet battery, uses packs from electrified vehicles, is still in its testing phase at Mazda, where the stability of the charging and discharging cycles is being monitored to see if it's up to the task of powering factory or at least part of it. Well, it's true. Toyota's had this capability for a while, but you never really hear them using it. So they would need the data, wouldn't they? Nissan has done it a little bit, but there just weren't that many used Nissan Leafs to tear apart. And then Chevy seemed to only really do it for show. Question of battery size, since Toyota had so many hybrids and so few all electric. But I think that was one of the comments on the article. I think that them having a bunch of hybrid batteries just means that there's going to be more battery packs in each container. And as long as the container meets the label on the outside, does it really matter if you have 8 hybrid batteries or 2 electric car batteries in the container?
I
don't
mean, it
think it
could be
does.
2 big batteries in the same size container of like 8 smaller batteries.
Exactly. Yeah, as long as it meets what they promised you on the outside, I think it's fine, even if it's say it's actually more powerful than it says.
But bigger numbers sounds better. Go through.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what customer is going to complain that they asked for 1,000 units and you give them 1,500? All right, yeah, I'll take it. Especially at the corporate level, they love free stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this guy is asking.
I mean, who doesn't love free stuff?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This guy here is asking as a comment. It looks like he's being sarcastic. He says, "I thought EV batteries were useless after 3 years." Yeah, he says he guarantees slash s for sarcasm, or so the anti-EV crowd preaches. I don't think it's just anti-EV. There's a combination of people who don't want to see anything change, and there's the people who don't know. The ones who don't know, I really wish they would ask instead of just saying. But the ones who do know and are lying, I really wish they would just shut up.
Oh yeah, just kind of like making statements and spreading incorrect information, right?
Yeah, I kind of get, the ones that, look at it logically and you try to go common sense based on what you know. I can kind of see that, but you need to say, hey, but I'm not an electrical engineer or anything. But then you've got the ones that are like, no, I sell generators, and I can't have you on batteries because then I won't sell any generators or whatever the case may be. But we talked last week about a hospital that was using batteries. They still have to have a generator. What if that outage? What if it's due to a major natural disaster? But now they don't have to run the generators at night while the patients are trying to sleep. They can run it during the day if the solar is not going to be enough, and then they're required to have them on hand, so you're not going to be missing out. Another example of repurposing batteries.
I didn't think about that, about like them running the generators at night because of like the sleeping patients.
Exactly.
Because I would think that it could also be good to run them at night to just charge things up.
Yeah.
To be ready for the next day when the usage goes up.
Yeah.
So I guess like both ways.
But they could run it more intelligently. Because like right now, if you've got say you've got 5 days of batteries, or even 3, you don't have to mess with the generator at all, other than your monthly test. But if you've got like one of those once in a lifetime type storms, and it takes out your infrastructure around the hospital for 3 weeks, then you could run the generator in pulses rather than just constantly going. Because those things, if you've ever had you're trying to sleep and you got a loud delivery truck just sitting there with a rough idle, and they don't turn it off while they unload, it's like, oh man, I'm trying to sleep, and it's so there's opportunity there too. So that was that article. Yeah. Let's see.
Plus, the batteries only last so long, but like with the generators, you can just always bring in more fuel.
Right. And so you can have a certain amount of solar, but say there's like ash in the air or something. So now you can't count on your solar panels. Most places aren't set up to have wind locally. Wind is usually something you're going to put out in the ocean or out on a farm somewhere. So, aka not the hospital. Yeah. So Rivian's RJ Scaringe says EV batteries are going next. Oh, this is pretty cool. They've got they've got their X-ray of their pack. It looks like the Model 3 style. They've got these mega modules. They've got 3 running front to back, and that's showing the R2 prototype. And then next to it, it's showing the Rivian delivery van. During an interview, Scaringe told Inside EVs that his startup's main focus right now on the battery front is making EVs charge faster without sacrificing range. Shorter public charging stops would make owning an EV more convenient, especially for road trips for people that can't charge at home. I think that's the only real issue right there, is the folks who can't charge at home, because as we all know, except for when you're towing, the cars are plenty fast to the point where you go to the bathroom with the whole family, and then you get food, and before your food is ready, the car is telling you it's time to get back on the road. So the people who don't eat on the road and don't stop for bathroom breaks, might be too long for them. But then definitely the people who can't charge at home, like if you got to go from an apartment complex to a public charger, if you have to do that once a month or once a week, that's a drag. I did it for a while when I was in Virginia, but only because I already had the car. I would not have chosen to do that if I didn't already have the car, and if I was, if it wasn't a temporary situation. Basically, I took an assignment that was supposed to be more money, but I didn't realize how much Virginia housing and taxes would eat up. Whoops. So it ended up being like a very small bump. Let's see. Faster charging is generally at odds with the battery cell's density. Yeah, because as Karen explains, it wears them out. In other words, you can make a battery that charges lightning quick, but it may not hold very much energy, resulting in an EV that can't go as far. And that's part of why it takes anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes to add significant charge in most of America. And that's part of it. The other part of it is that, the stations, they were great when they came out, but the stations now are, they haven't kept up with the increases in the battery tech on the whole. A couple of them, like you've got Tesla, you've got Electrify America's technology. They're right up there with the 1,000-volt architecture, that sort of thing. But some of them are still putting out 200 kilowatt chargers and saying, "Look at us, pat on the back." And you're like, 200 kilowatts. Tesla had that 6 years ago. Where have you been?
Sorry, I'm still listening, but I'm also doing a little multitasking here.
Yeah, I was doing a sandwich. So, let's see. Riven's exploring chemistry tweaks like silicon anodes, dialing and targeting those towards fast charge. So my Model S had the Tesla's first real Tri silicon, and it wasn't very unstable. They've got it now, but man, oh man, that first one. It met the warranty, because when it crapped out, they gave me the new one, which was fine. Appreciated that. Let's see. Think about the cost of a battery. For everything other than the chemistry, its overhead is there to hold the chemistry and connect it all together, so it's not adding value. So you're saying put less of the connective stuff in there? As long as it's safe, why not? I think there's a lot of noise in solid state around commercial readiness. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with RJ there. Toyota's been bragging about solid state for almost 30 years now, and it still isn't here yet. We've got semi-solid, and then we've got another company that's not Toyota coming out with solid state next year, but we'll see how that plays. And many battery companies and automakers have been working on solid state batteries for years. Cells that trade a liquid electrolyte for a solid one, but none have achieved full-scale production. Exactly. Kind of like the hydrogen thing. It works in theory, but then when you look at the numbers, they don't add up. And to Scaringe and his battery team, a new battery technology which is only really worth its sodium if it can be mass-produced reliably. Oh, okay, that was an awkward sentence. So they're looking at sodium if they can do it reliably. Yeah, absolutely. I'd imagine a sodium-ion battery might be pretty cheap. You've seen polymer-based batteries. That's people looking at sodium, so there's a whole host of different things being looked at. But the question is, can they get to scale, says Scaringe. For now, Rivian CEO thinks that the two chemistries that already dominate the EV landscape will remain the most important. Yeah, lithium-ion and lithium iron phosphate. So, Rivian uses both in their lineup. Scaringe said lauded the LFP for its hardiness and affordability. However, as LFP packs gain share across China and Europe, they probably won't be much of a factor in the U.S. due to trade barriers. Yeah, just the tariffs on them. The United States, because of our trade relationships with China, has very low LFP penetration. And I think it will likely stay low in the United States unless we see a shift in trade policy. Yeah, Tesla was smart enough to buy some production tech from BYD and the training in time to get them out of the country before the administration changed. And so they have a lock on that, but their factory can't make enough for what they need. But it can certainly make a difference in North America and be kind of the exclusive holder of the tech in the U.S. It is a business advantage. Ford may become America's battery dealer. That's an interesting headline. The new Chevy Bolt's batteries will come from China. Well, that's not a very good move in this climate. I have 2 EVs and no ICE vehicles. We do our charging at home, midnight to 6 a.m. When rates are good. When we're on a trip, charging isn't bad. And I have a NAX for my Chevy, which is pretty perfect. Yeah. What you say makes complete sense to me, i.e. overnight charging is the default. Yeah, if you've got a place to charge at home, do it. Battery swapping like NIO does. That's a solution in dense cities, and if your cars are built for it like NIO's, but I don't know that will work for North America. It didn't even work in Israel when Better Place tried it. Look how much less expensive GM could sell their Silverado, Hummer, and Cadillac for with the dual battery 200 kilowatt. Drop one battery that's roughly $16K. That means lower price. Yeah, this is true. But you'd have to have some swap stations where people want them and convince them that the previous battery that they're taking in is well maintained. If somebody was rock sliding with the battery and then you get it and then it catches fire, that's not good. All right, so let's read up on that Ford thing. Where'd it go? It was before I got to the comments. There we go. Ford may become America's battery dealer. Ford's next cash show might not be cars, but batteries that underpin them. That's certainly a pivot, and it would work. The brand's joint venture at Blue Oval SK sees significant overcapacity of battery cells that otherwise wouldn't have a home. Well, I'll tell you, I know 3 companies right now that are starving for batteries. Ford's business model has largely been the same for more than a century. Build a car, sell a car. Yeah. Rinse and repeat, and now the age of the electric car, things are a bit more complicated. There are software-defined cars that make after-sales subscriptions possible, corporate fleets, and a potential new avenue of selling batteries batteries that power the EVs and hybrids that roam America's streets. Yeah. According to Bloomberg, the joint venture is a tie-up between Ford and SK On, is considering turning its sprawling battery investments into standalone revenue stream. Hey, go get your dollar, baby. This means taking on excess capacity produced in its factories and selling them off to other automakers, grid storage providers, and anybody with a big enough checkbook. Yeah. Basically, Ford is becoming America's hookup for domestically produced batteries. Sounds like a smart investment. Ford has invested billions into its joint venture, and the pair have since broken ground on plants in Tennessee and Kentucky, in part thanks to a $9.2 billion loan from the U.S. government. But it turns out that the planned capacity of these plants will result in more batteries than Ford can use. Way more, actually. And that might just turn out to be a good thing for the battery industry. yeah, more choice is good. Both of our parents are looking for other opportunities for other new business, says Blue Oval SK. CEO Michael Adams, and speaking to Bloomberg. He went on to note that the Ford-backed JV still plans on opening the doors in his new Tennessee plant in 2027, but he cautioned that the production of the Ford's EV may not grow at the rate the company initially projected. That's possible, but somebody pointed out the other day that we saw in Europe that after the incentives went away, and people realized they weren't coming back, the sales went up because they're still cheaper to operate, more fun to drive, more powerful, more reliable. All the advantages are there, even if you're not getting a check from the government. Ford's excess capacity isn't just because it didn't plan well. Or sorry, isn't because it didn't plan well. It's because the EV industry has grown at a slower rate than most of the industry expected. I don't necessarily agree with that conclusion, but I do agree that now that the tax credit's gone, that will change. It will change things. Adam said he believes the chance for new customers to sign up to battery capacity is fairly high. And he's probably not wrong. That's correct, yeah. This guy's asking, how can I get samples? I plan to upgrade the 1.8 Panasonic battery in my 14 Fusion Hybrid to a larger capacity. Maybe add a charging circuit from the energy model to convert my Fusion Hybrid Electric into a plug-in hybrid electric. Well, I'm sure Ford would not appreciate that. If I'm successful, I can offer conversion kits to many other Fusion Hybrid and plug-in hybrid models to increase their battery capacity range and extend their lives. Well, if you order enough of them, I'm sure they'd appreciate that. And then Tim there says that I expect if there's money in doing it, Ford would have already done it. Sort of. They'd have to look at the calculus between offering the upgrades and if anybody would buy them, as well as if that would stop people from buying new cars and the profit on each venture. Ford is retooling their Louisville auto plant to build a mid-sized electric truck. Apparently, they don't think it's as stupid an idea as you think. Who? The author? Or did they miss a comment? It says there's 6, so maybe he's replying to somebody else. GM Energy would like a word. It still doesn't say who that guy's replying to. Maybe they got their comment removed for being too spicy.
Maybe.
Yeah. Correction. Ford decided a huge investment in building electric trucks was stupid. They are repurposing the. Oh, okay. That's who he's replying to. It's a little weird it didn't thread it. They're repurposing those facilities to produce batteries for other manufacturers that can be as stupid as they want. Pay attention to Ford. They already are aware the Toyota EV as they currently exist aren't long-term solution. Yeah, I agree with the guy who's correcting this guy that if Ford didn't think it was good, they would not have been making new electric models. And this guy, Bill, tells the Fusion Hybrid guy, you're not going to upgrade that air-cooled battery pack on the old Ford Energy vehicles. Software changes required, which you can't obtain. I wouldn't say never, but I will say that Ford won't help you with it. But if you do order enough of them, they will sell you the batteries for sure. Interesting. All right, what else we got in here? Here we go. Tom Maloney has got a video about Safe or Deadly. I'm guessing that is on the extension cables. Yep, it's exactly what it is. This Tesla supercharger extension cable may look perfect, but it isn't ready for prime time. It's the first commercially available NACS to CCS1 extension cord, but as Tom found out, there are some issues with it. Technically, unless it's certified, you probably shouldn't even plug it into either your car or the station, lest it catch fire, and then you'll be on the hook for the damage to the station, as well as the direct damage to your vehicle without insurance, because insurance is going to say, well, that's not an authorized accessory, because they don't want to pay for your car. They cheap. It's quite good as Tesla managed to install a DC fast charger about everywhere you'd expect. Yes. Leaving that aside, you'll need an access CCS1 adapter if you're on an older car, yeah. Supercharger cable may not reach your charge port. This is true on some popular EVs, including the Chevy Blazer EV, aforementioned trucks, and the most popular stall version known as V3. Yeah, but the long cable chargers are being deployed. They're just not everywhere you want to be yet. They finished Germany. Everywhere in Germany has a long cable charger, which means a V3 plus or a V. Very rarely, you might see a V2 with the V4 handle. I don't know that they did it that way. I think they were all V3 pluses, and they were supposed to have for Q2 the V4 native. Hopefully, it's still on track for this year, but we haven't seen it yet. And here we are in the second half, going into the third quarter, and we still haven't seen it yet. But at the same time, I'd rather them take the time to do it right than rush to get it out and have a problem. The cool thing about the V4 native is it's going to be also the mega chargers. So you'll be able to charge semis at 1.2 megawatts, and you'll be able to charge Cybertrucks and others at 500 kilowatts. And eventually, I bet you that we'll see megawatt charging on the car side as well whenever we find a megawatt capable car. All right, let's see what else he says about this. Thankfully, there's a company out there just trying to fix two issues with one product. So Hansho is a not really a sponsor of the show, but I do have affiliate code. So if you wanted to get some accessories from Hansho, use my code down below in the link, and there you go. That's where my yoke came from. Let's see. 5-foot extension cable doubles as an access CCS1 adapter, so it should come in handy. That said, the $600 product has some flaws. As Inside EV's contributor and charging expert Tom Malogny has found out during the review of the product. Put simply, he wouldn't recommend it as a safe option. So don't use my code on that. Just leave it at their store. Specs-wise, the extension cable has two thermal sensors inside the connectors, so that when temperatures hit 185 degrees Fahrenheit or 85 Celsius, the charging session stops automatically. Okay. That sounds like they're trying to do the right thing. Furthermore, the charging can be ended by pushing the button on the CCS connector, or you can stop the session from the Tesla app. That said, there's another release button on the NACS connector, which does just that. It only releases the extension cable from the NACS charging cable. It doesn't stop the session. Ooh, that is really not safe, because you're looking at a minimum of 400 volts and 400 amps for the base V2, V3 capabilities. And let your car that needs the CCS adapter be 1,000 volt capable, and you'll be on a V4 plug. You could have 1,000 volts coursing through that cable. It needs to be the same as the other one, where pushing the button turns it off. That's dangerous. That's a problem because one could inadvertently remove their NACS port first while charging, and that could create a big electrical arc as power would continue to flow through the charging cable. Yes, exactly. There's a man stuck to the charging cable out here. Can we send an ambulance, please? For what it's worth, the company says in the instructions that users should always stop the charging station first by by pressing the button on the CCS1 handle or through the station's app, and then remove the extension cable. But as Inside EV's contributor Tom rightly puts it, people don't read the instructions. This is true. It would be much safer if the release button on the next end of the extension cable could also stop the charging session. Yes. That's not the only problem with the $600 cable, though. According to Hansho's website, the product is rated for a maximum of 250 amps and 1,000 volts, resulting in a maximum power of 250 kilowatts. And I think that part is fine, because 250 kilowatts is all that the V3 station can do. The problem is that a lot of EVs on the market will ask for a lot more than 250 amps. Some require over 500 amps for short stints. Okay, yeah, that will be a problem. This means that the extension cable will not function as expected in some scenarios. At least that's what we found out during our testing. When topping up Ford F-150 Lightning at the Tesla Supercharger, going from 10 to 50% took 30 minutes using the extension cord. Using a certified NACS CCS1 adapter doing an identical session took 24 minutes. There you go, RJ. Sorry about that. I didn't see it hanging out there. I didn't know that it had clipped you.
Nah, I just refreshed and then I got dropped out of the speaker role.
Yeah, they whenever they hire a team back, they need to really put some effort into the Spaces product. I think that they've got something nice here that they could either use it as fresh data ingest, or they could make some money off of it without raising their prices. Like they could hear us talking about EVs and then put a Tesla ad at the bottom, or they could hear us talking about.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But not like in your face, just like a little at the bottom, just a little bloop bloop. I heard you talking about new shoes. Here's the new Nike or Reeboks, blah blah blah.
I wonder what kind of advertisements they could possibly put on MySpaces, because I'm planning on doing like philosophy stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm. They could sell books.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Like philosophy books.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Yeah, that's a significant increase in time. So that means that the either the Ford or the cable is doing the right thing and seeing that the cable was heating up and backing off. Because we went from 24 minutes to 30 minutes. I mean, it's only 6 there, but like imagine had the truck been more thirsty. Okay, let's see, the same extension cable was used to charge a Gen 1 Rivian R1S at a different Tesla Supercharger. After plugging in with a dead battery, the car stopped charging after just a couple of minutes, saying the cable was too hot. After unplugging, waiting 15 minutes, and plugging back in, the car accepted the charge for just 1 minute before ending the session again. Better safe than sorry, I say. But man, $600 to get 15 minutes and then a total of 16 minutes of charge? I might not appreciate that.
So was that the charging cable getting hot, you said?
It's a third-party accessory extension cable. So these cables on the Gen 3 and, well, I guess only the Gen 3 is compatible with the cars they're testing. The Gen 3 has like a 1, maybe 2 meter cable. And some of the cars' charge ports don't fit neatly into that. So they made a what they say, a 5-foot cable, and these guys are saying that it's a good idea, but you should avoid it. And from what they're seeing, I have to agree.
There's like that specific cable does not function.
Right, they're saying that on the Ford it slowed them down 6 minutes, and that there's the danger of an arc flash if you accidentally open the Tesla side of the connector. Because it only stops the charge if you open the generic side of the connector. So I don't think it's. I mean, I'm glad that they put thermal sensors in there, but I don't think that's safe enough if you can arc it. And I'd be really upset if I paid $600 and you gave me 16 minutes of charge with a 15-minute cooldown in the middle to get that extra minute. So that's really 31 minutes.
That does not sound like a good product.
Right. Let's see. The A to Z, another company which makes charging adapters, has offered a NACS to NACS extension cable, but it's not on sale yet. With the company saying it expects the first units to ship in the last quarter. Hopefully their internal testing is going better than what Tom and Inside EVs found on this one then. With the company saying it expects the first units to ship last quarter. All this being said, there's another issue that EV owners should be aware of. If anything were to go wrong during a charging session, car makers may not honor the warranty if anything other than manufacturer recommended charging adapter was used. That's actually much less than the warning I gave, because I was saying that, if you damage their station, they're going to come after you with the full force. And if you damage your car, forget the warranty. Your insurance isn't going to help you with it either. Let's see. So the product is out there and can be used. There are issues that need to be considered before you plug one in. Make sure to look into the safe operation and consult with safety and charging experts when necessary. Agreed. Let's see what the comments are. Top comment is, yikes, I watched the video. Does not look like a product that should be allowed to be sold. Someone is going to get killed and then they'll have to withdraw it. I hope it doesn't get to that, but it's certainly a real possibility if there's a chance to arc it in the middle. It didn't even work at all on the Rivian. Perhaps a vote in Rivian's favor. It's not designed to be used in the sun in the summer, and and you might die if you forget to operate it exactly correctly. Great. Have they even met humans? And are they aware that the weather exists?
Right.
Right. But it definitely would have to be some level of weather resistant, because the next connector requires it, and then the CCS connection expects it. I don't know if it requires it, but it definitely expects it, because with a straight plug-in, you can charge in the rain, you can stand in a puddle and charge, no big deal. But I would not stand in a puddle while operating this extension device. Let's see here.
Yeah, I'm also thinking that, like, the people that design these things, they understand what they're making, like, pretty well, I imagine. So like when it goes into the hands of a consumer, like how many people take the time to read the manual? You know what I mean?
And I don't know if they're a Chinese or Taiwanese company, but it may be up to their standard, but they also expect their customers to read stuff a little better than as the I don't know if it's the commenter or the article maker. The author pointed out that in America we don't always read the book.
Yeah, exactly.
So this guy says this deserves to be the headline of the article. Do not do business with this company. I can't say that again because other than I do have the referral code. My yoke wheel has been just fine from them, as have been most of their other accessories for me so far. Believe it or not, the attempted bribe was the only opening gambit in a conversation that goes on to include accusations of corruption, plenty of profanity, and arguing that the adapter must be safe because flesh didn't die. You don't want to read this for yourself. Oh, here's a link. Let's check that out. Because if they're talking about Brandon Flash, I respect his opinion on these things too. I've opened it in a new tab. We'll wait for it to load. Hopefully it hasn't gone behind their paywall. Easy problem to avoid. Don't charge at Tesla chargers. No extension cord needed. Yeah, you make that sound so easy. As if there are plenty of other choices than a Tesla charger. Not saying there aren't any, but they've been at this since 2012, whereas the others got started around 2016 to 2018. There's just a head start there, that's all. And with everybody going to the Tesla port has become the NACS port, North American Charging Standard. So are you going to go out of your way to pick a port that you need an adapter for? Or are you going to just plug into the one that's cheaper, faster, and on your route? Your solution doesn't make sense, Mr. Mike and Madison. And Tom Savory. Tom99 says not always possible. There are routes in the western half of the U.S. where Tesla chargers are the only options for several hundred miles. Examples include between Dallas, Texas, and Amarillo, Texas, and between the Klamath Falls, Oregon, and Reno, Nevada. Oh, got him. Extension cable designed for V3 superchargers would max out at 250 amps. Yes, the article didn't specifically say that that's the max of the V3 chargers, but That's not exactly true either. The V3s max at 250 kilowatts. They max at 400 amps on the V3. So almost double the amps of what this thing is rated for. The excess heat and slower charging points to serious resistance inside that cable. Yeah, inside the cable or one of the two connectors, which will also increase your charging costs. Your comparison of the actual charge sessions shows that the cable converted about 800 watts into straight heat. Assuming his math is right on that one, that's a lot. That's almost a kilowatt of just space heater on the cable. Ouch.
I mean, you could like you could replace a heater with that maybe.
Yeah, but you don't need an outdoor heater in the middle of Wyoming while you're traveling in the middle of winter, or worse,
True.
Arizona in the summertime. Oof. As I said,
Because like the only time you would need these extension cables, like you wouldn't need it like if you have your car charging like in your house.
yeah, you won't need it at
Garage.
home, and you won't need it if you can pull up to the spot correctly. So you'd only really need it while towing, or if you're trying to use a station that's not set up for your car. Like if you've got a either like a Ford Lightning or a wrong side charge port situation. Most of the other cars out there can handle it, and the Ford Lightning is not that it can't do it, but there's some stations where it just isn't set up to be without putting a wheel on the curb or in the grass or something like that. Or if it's a slow enough station, you can park alongside, but it's discouraged that you take up multiple spaces because some people have road rage. Also, you want to be
Well,
courteous
yeah, of
about it.
course.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Privacy notice. Accept. All right. This text is tiny. Let me make this text a little bigger and see. There we go. That's definitely readable. I made it too big. All right, let's share this tab instead. So it linked to the one that the guy sent us, and it looks like a comment. I don't see the rest of the article. Dominic Preston, $100 to take down your video. That was the EV accessory manufacturer's offer to YouTube. Yeah, there's Brandon Flash. Okay, YouTube's offer to Brandon Flash. He pointed a pretty damning takedown of their dangerous, useless, and overpriced charging adapter. All right, I'll watch that video too later. Believe it or not, the apparent attempted bribe was only the opening gambit in conversation that goes on to include accusations of corruption, plenty of profanity, and arguing the adapter must be safe because Flash didn't die. You're going to want to read this for yourself. All right, so that links to x.com. So we'll open that as well. We've gone in a circle now. Welcome to our comment section.
So they literally said the product is safe because they didn't die.
That's the summary from the post on The Verge. I'll have to watch both of their videos to know what I think of it. But the items he pointed out are important. Like I said, you don't want to be able to disconnect the DC charge. Not even just a high voltage DC. You don't want to be able to connect a low voltage DC charge, and arc it. There's a reason why when you on the stations when you go to release the charge, sometimes it can take up to 3 seconds. They're making sure that all the voltage has gone down to normal levels before they or off before they let you unplug. That's why it stays latched to your vehicle.
Oh, because like if there's still voltage, like it'll create like an electrical arc.
Oh yeah, and at 400 amps and 400 volts, that's dangerous. I mean, not only could it kill you, it can weld.
Damn.
It could weld you and whatever's connected together. So the extension and the car are all stuck together now. Not good.
Damn.
Yeah. Assuming it didn't straight up, end you at the first connection, you would definitely be stuck in there with the welded metal.
Yeah. So if that's the case, then yeah, safety is definitely a priority.
And their argument that if you use it correctly, if you use it correctly, but as the commenter and the author pointed out, this is America, Bo. It's not always going to be used correctly.
Yeah. Plus, plus also like there's also this thing where like a product not killing the customer should kind of go without saying. So
Yeah.
just like earlier, the fact that they said that it's not that he didn't die from using it. I mean, just the fact they have to say that out loud is a little bit of like a red flag for me.
Exactly. Oh, and this person with the it's a bold strategy cotton GIF on it. All right, so let's go to the X post and see if we can get the information without watching the video. Not that I don't want to watch the video, but I can't replay the video here right now. All right, so Brandon says buyer beware in his thumbnail. He has a thumbs down in the thumbnail. He says the Henshow North America rep kept doubling down and trying to bribe me to remove my video. Do not do business with this company. But wait, there's more. Well, they've been good to me, but that's the first thing they say about some very, very bad hombres as well. They were good to me doesn't mean that they didn't do the bad things. So I can't speak to that. So it starts with a goodbye. Can you send back the adapter to us, please? We will update the new version and send it to you. What do you think? When will the new version be available, and what are you charging? That's a fair question. I can also help you $100 if you can take off the video now. Oh, no. No, no, no. No. Never, 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 never offer that. Don't even think it. That goes to, you might not see him as a news source, but bloggers and vloggers are, if you just treat them like you treat a newspaper, and you'll never end up in that kind of hot water. Never offer that money to take down a piece.
Yeah.
You can ask them to put up a disclaimer saying, hey, there's a new version coming out and it's on the way. And that's just an ask. You can't demand it. Wow. We'll update the issue, as you said, probably a month, but it depends on our engineering team, so I will get back to you. Because the one we sent you is for testing, actually. Okay. I will not take a bribe to remove the video, and I do not appreciate you even suggesting it. Yeah. What are the exact changes? Fair question. The guy says, this is not a bribe. It sounds exactly like a bribe. Take down the video for $100. That's the test product we sent you currently, or only. Not for sale. Okay. That doesn't change that you offered him $100 to take it down. Do you understand? Question mark. And he says offering $100 to remove a video is an attempted bribe. That's how most of North America would take it. And I get that there might be a cultural misunderstanding, but if you're in charge of the North American department, then you should know what a bribe looks like to a North American. Anders says celebrates 43 months of membership.
Exactly.
Thank you, Anders. Anders has been a member for 43 months on the YouTube channel. Congrats. Thank you. Wow. Been doing this that long. So if you're in North America, that's I would get it if it was the China or Taiwan or wherever they're from marketing guy making that mistake, but if you call yourself North America ARM, you have to have some sensibilities to North American ethics. That's the fee for the return shipping cost, he says. One, you should have already pre-negotiated that he was paying shipping for anything. And two, they said it in the same sentence as take the video down. Not There's no way that anybody else would have interpreted that as $100 to send it back. He says it's good enough to send it back. Yeah, $100 should send back a 5-foot cable, but it might not. Depends on how heavy it is, because it has to be pretty stout to handle the what it does claim it handles. And then Brandon says, you're selling the same product on your website and have sent to others, such as Tom. And then the guy says, I know you have a lot of money, but you can't work with people like this. What? I wouldn't call Brandon somebody with a lot of money. You see how much he and his girlfriend like scrimp and save to make the stuff they do? I mean, maybe more than you personally, but you really shouldn't be in the pockets of somebody you're trying to get to do you a favor and make a video. Goodness gracious. So then Brandon says this has nothing to do with money and everything to do with your company selling it a bad product. Then the rep says this is very unethical. That's your idea thinking only. Interesting. Brandon says, yes, your company is being very unethical. And then the rep says, you think we are? Or you think who you are? So who do you think you are, I guess is the translation. Do you think that you are very good, know about adapters? So I'm guessing he's saying, are you knowledgeable about the adapters? What do you, or what should we do, and what should we do so you send back the product to us? That's easy. You just put it in the little bit of a like an NDA and a contract that it's a loan, and you send it in the first place. Brandon replies, yes, I am an expert on adapters. I have tested all of them, and I am familiar with the relevant safety standards. Well, let's say you. The rep says, I'm sure you are working for those company. What? No, he is independent. And then the rep continues to reply, says, oh, it's a quote of Brandon, so I need to go to the next tab. But Brandon said he is an expert on adapters, and then the rep quoted him and says, I don't think so. Really? What are you going to bring forth to say that he doesn't know what he's talking about? All right, so then Brandon says, you need to do the following. 1, issue a stop sale of the current adapter extension. And 2, issue a safety recall of the sold adapters and offer a refund. 3, improve the product and do not sell unless you safety certified with UL 2252 by a third-party testing lab such as Underwriter's Laboratory. Yeah, that's reasonable. And then Brandon quotes the guy back saying, I am not working for any other adapter or accessory manufacturer. And the rep says, sure you do. Oof. Then Brandon quotes himself about the steps he needs to take and says, when will you be taking these steps? And then the rep says, when will you take off the video and send back them items to us? At this point, that's irrelevant. Brandon says the video will not be removed. And then the guy includes a picture that I cannot see on my screen. I'm sorry, it's tiny. Go to the next post directly from here. Yeah, that's exactly what I want. He's highlighted in the video that Brandon's got a link to products he does recommend. And so Brandon says, I'm linking to reputable adapters. I mean, yeah, you're going to sell something. Well, why not sell something that you can actually get behind? The guy says, you're working with them and get money paid them from them. I mean, commission sales, yeah. Brandon says they are affiliate links, and yes, I do promote products that are reputable. I'm sorry, what? And yes, I do not promote products that are not reputable. Your link is below it if somebody wants to buy it anyway. I think that's fair. Like you say, don't buy this, and then you still give a link to it. That's plenty fair. You said do not buy from us. Yeah, why not? All right, so Brandon says correct. It's not a safe product. When will you have an improved safe product and a recall of the current product? The guy says, just admit it's not a big deal. What? He just told you you need a safety recall and that your product is dangerous, and you say it's not a big deal? Wow.
Who cares?
You didn't die, did you? Uh, so Brandon says not having proper safety mechanisms is a big deal. Rep says it is a safety product. Doesn't sound like it. The message was deleted. So he said something else and he took it back. Then he continues to say, I am saying, admit it, you are working for those company. It's not a big deal. Oh yeah. That wouldn't be a big deal if it was true, but you shouldn't allege that, especially if you're the North American rep are located in North America. You do realize that the USA is one of the most litigious out there. You find yourself in a very expensive position. Brandon reiterates, I do not work for those companies. And the rep says, now the video says you've got 5,000 views. That's why you don't want to take off the video. I understand that. You must get paid already. How much does he think you get paid for YouTube videos? The 5,000 was like a couple pennies.
It's like they just keep trying to move the goalposts.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, if it was 5 million views, yeah, that's some big money, but we're talking 5,000 views. That's doesn't even cover his time put into the video, let alone any editing or research. That literally just doesn't even cover the time to hit record, say what he says, and then turn it off again. Okay, so it moves us off to the next post, and he says, and more. The rep is trying to accuse me of working for Electron and A to Z. Electron issued a product recall after my initial adapter video months ago and improved their product. Oh yeah, I remember that recall. It was pretty bad. All right, so now we're back into the thread. Brandon says this has nothing to do with money. I do not want an unsafe product in the market. I do not want to see someone get injured or die because of an unsafe product. I agree. Rep says it has money. Everyone is selfish. If you get injured, or how can you speaking with me? Whoa, buddy. So he knows it's dangerous because if there's a failure of that product, yes, it's deadly. So he's saying but even if he was using it wrong, it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to get the full 400 amps, 400 volts. It could have very easily been as a thing, because they do have rapid disconnects. So that means you could get 25 volts. Either way, it's not. Oh, man. Because you don't want to rely on the rapid if the car is not expecting you to yank it. It can detect it and deal with it, but that's after you've exposed it. Versus if you push the button, then that tells you something right there. If it only takes anywhere from 2 to 6 seconds to let go, it's not really built for the full rapid more than once or twice in its lifetime. All right, so then Brandon quotes where he called him selfish, and it has nothing to do with money. And the guy says, I can understand that, no worries. Really? Brandon said, you clearly cannot. Issue a recall and stop selling the product. And the guy says, I'm issuing you to send back the product to us. That should be called a request. And Brandon says that's not a safety recall. What does me sending the product back accomplish? That's a fair question. The rep says to improve the product. I told you do not understand the production. Brandon says that doesn't make any sense. There are full. They are They are all faulty. What do you not understand? So he's saying like it's not just mine; it's all of them. And the
Yeah, I
rep,
mean,
hmm?
he sounded like he thought that
Just the one.
it kind of sounded like it was just the one, like that
Yeah,
was the only one that was ever made, and then he was like testing it maybe, like but that's not the case. So
right. Yeah, if you, I get it if they were all that way and they were all for test for the video, but as Brandon said, they're selling it. So if they're selling and delivering the same thing, it's a problem. I mean, I've heard cases where the product is being sold, but they say up front, hey, you've got a prototype. It doesn't have all the updates. You've got this and that, and the product will have these changes. But those are finished products we sold to customers already, pre-allocated. So here's the engineering sample. That way you can say, hey, mine is purple, but the real one will be blue, or whatever the case is. You've probably seen a couple of them like that too, right? This is not the final
um,
product.
well, I mean, I've never really seen any like EV
Oh, not so EV, but
videos.
just
Like
like
I don't
in
know any
general
experience
product
with that.
review videos or articles where they say, hey,
Oh,
we don't have the finished one here in front of us.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that can't just be a case of cultural differences right there, because there's plenty of Chinese firms that are doing that as well. Japanese, American, all of them. Like, hey, this is not final product, but here's what's different. Or it's not final product, and the new one will be out in 3 weeks or whatever. And then sometimes the guy will say, hey, I don't have time to wait for it. Here's what I found out. And I will come back when the new one is out and I buy it with my own money and say, here it is. Or, they just tell you up front, like, hey, it's not the final. And this is the last time I'm going to cover it. But at least you know. It's a good disclaimer.
Yeah.
Let's see. So he goes back to, again, just admit you're working with this company. Don't talk with me. It's using profanity, yeah. Brandon said, like I said before, I don't work for any other accessory manufacturer. Rep says you do for sure. Brandon says you can believe what you'd like. The rep says, if you don't like the product, you can let us know. This is not the way you are doing business. Nobody wants to work with a person like you. Oh. What? He's trying to
The
bully
sales
him?
rep saying that.
Huh?
So that was the sales rep that said
The sales rep said that. Like he's trying to bully him or something.
that. Nobody wants to do business with you. I mean, is it possible that's projection? I don't know.
Right? Wow. So Brandon says it's not a matter of liking or disliking. The product is unsafe and could harm someone. And the rep quotes him about, you can believe what you like. And he says, of course. Did you die? Oh, literally, did you die? Did you die though? That's so funny because if you guys are familiar with some of the much older editions of the show here, our friend Lee, who comes through on most of the Sundays here, she says one of her jokes is, "Did you die?" But not in a case like this. She would never use it here, but just like somebody's telling a long-winded story, and they were so sad, and just to break the ice, she's like, "But did you die though?" Uh, not in a case like this. Oh my goodness! But it was funny because that was a flashback for me. Throwback. All right. So next, the guy says, "I'm asking you, why did you focus on the certificate? Do you think that the product would be safe if I get the certificate? Come on." Actually, yeah. If you don't get a counterfeit certificate, then yeah, a safety certificate does make it that level of safe because it has to comply with the regulation for them to give you the sticker. Brandon says the safety certification means that that it has been third party tested to be safe. Exactly. So the rep says, yes, you are the third party. No, Brandon's not a certifying authority. I mean, I guess he could get to be there, but he's not. Brandon says it's not safe, and I'm not the NRTL. Then the guy goes back, but are you still alive? What? What do you mean it's not safe? Brandon says, go watch my video. I outline the very problems very clearly. Yeah, you guys had to watch the video. Don't just look at the title. Because he could say, oh, don't buy this thing and say everything good about it. That's very much a clickbait strategy. Then the guy says back that we tested it well before we shipped to you. You don't even know how to use it. Wow. Brandon says, go watch my video. And the rep says the natural way is to turn off charging from app or inside the car before unplugging, or unplug the CCS side first. Not disconnecting the supercharger NACS first. Natural to who? Like all of us technical type people? Absolutely. Yeah, we would do that. But you can't expect somebody, maybe somebody lets their kid unplug the car and they don't know about electricity. They're going to unplug the middle. It's closer to their level. Boom. Big problem. Once you stop the charging in the supercharger or disconnect the CCS, the supercharger will stop power. I appreciate that if you could mention it on the video. I'm sure he did. Brandon says that should not be sold. Dangerous, useless. I wouldn't say it's useless, but it is dangerous. And overpriced hand-showed an AX CCS extension adapter. Oh, okay. So it automatically filled that in the from the title, because that was the title. Because he put a link to the video. The rep says, I already watched the profanity that you are talking about. Wow. Brandon says this doesn't make the product mechanically safe. It needs a switch on the NACS inlet that stops charging if the latch is pressed, and the latch needs to be more robust. Some cables were able to be pulled out without even pressing the latch. Ooh, I was going to suggest just not, either mechanically or electrically not letting the latch go until they do it the right way. Like you use the connection to power like an electro magnet to lock it. But if what he's saying is that you can pull it out without unplugging it or without pushing the button first, that's not going to work. Wow. The rep says follow the instruction we provide, please. It's not sufficient. Brandon says people do not read instructions. It needs to be safe still. The product you're selling does not meet the safety requirements of UL 2252 or SAE J3400. Yeah, so it doesn't even meet the requirements of the station, which are a lot easier to deal with. Like the original spec was pretty plain English. Or J3400, stop selling the current product, issue a recall for all sold units, and improve the product to meet the requirements before shipping them again. I think that's a reasonable demand. I mean, yeah, it sucks, but it's reasonable. The man says that's crazy. You never read instruction before you installing it. Whether he did or not is not the concern here. Brandon says that has nothing to do with instructions and everything to do with the product not meeting safety standards. Yeah. All right. So on a scale of did you die to 5 stars, how do you rate the adapter? All right, Alejandro, that's a good one. Brandon wrote 0. Honest question, is it genuinely unsafe? Can't one of the 1 million government entities stop them from selling them? And Brandon says you're funny to that one. Well, it was a real question. With something as serious as EV charging, shouldn't you be able to send your video somewhere and someone can shut them down from selling it here. I think there are methods for that, but at the moment, our regulatory agencies are dealing with their own concerns right now. Let's call it that. The Consumer Protection Bureau is basically shut down. I tested the same one under another brand. Don't put yourself in danger. Watch the video before buying an adapter for superchargers. So that was on. Somebody's asking about another one, and Brandon's saying he tested it, or at least one that looks exactly like it, and not to put himself in danger. Right, so back to the guy about the protection agencies. Maybe we need a third-party consortium, EV charging tech, EVSE extension cable adapters, 1450, etc. Maybe. Tesla went after EVject. Possibly they could go after these guys too. Yeah, absolutely. Tesla could do it. Keep in mind, we haven't even regulated the use of NEMA 1450 outlets for level 2 charging. Licensed electricians and inspectors are signing off on Alvin spec Levitons that have regularly melted or caught fire. They are way behind when it comes to EV hardware. It's why Brandon and Tom do. Is so important. Yeah, that's something that I come across when people are asking me, "Well, what plug do I get?" I'm like, "Well, don't get the cheap one on Amazon or at your hardware store. You want to get the industrial rated one because how often does somebody move their oven? And that's what those are rated for. 2 or 3 times in the life of the building." All right, let's see. So that was the second page of the conversation.
Oh, hey there, TCJC.
Oh, hello. Truth Seeker says, "Who remembers their power frunk? Felt so good to throw away the junk in the trash where it belongs."
Yeah, Casey was reading some juicy drama.
Yeah, got the tea.
A sales representative and a reviewer.
Mm-hmm. This might be finally enough to clue the community in as to how bad this company is. Even I didn't think they were this bad. The company already cost me over $1,000 on the unreliable frunk kit, which damaged my car and nearly caused a major crash. And I wasn't alone either. Interesting. Pinky in the mouth, $100. Nice try. Well, like I said, they were not like this to me, but as I said, with other cases of bad hombres, that doesn't excuse it just because they were good with me. It does not negate what we just saw there with Brandon, and doesn't mean that Brandon was the only one. So that's something to be aware of.
Who was it that said that they were good with me?
Me. This company was good with me.
Oh, you?
Yeah.
Oh, that was your experience. Okay. Yeah. I was just asking. Yeah.
Yeah. So a good example is with the movie mogul. Mr. Weinstein didn't do that to me. He must be good. You can't jump to that conclusion. You can only say that yes, he didn't assault me. You can't say that. Oh, I don't think he'd assault anyone. I mean, you can say that, but you can't use that as a standard. Like, oh, because he didn't assault me, that he could possibly never assault anybody else. Well, however many dozens of victims could prove otherwise. So, just saying.
I mean, from the sound of it, this reviewer, I imagine that it sounds like they have a decent reputation.
Yeah.
Would that be accurate?
Yeah, I mean, Brandon's good.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of okay, whose reputation do you trust more? And of course, you would trust. Well, I mean, I don't want to assume, but I imagine you do respect this reviewer's
Yeah.
opinion and review of the product, right?
Yeah, he hasn't given us any reason not to trust him on these yet. So, I mean, that could change, but so far, if you told me the one, the guy selling the thing says it's good, and he tells me it's not, and tells me why, and then I can see the flaws, then I would definitely agree with the guy I have past experience with.
Right.
All right, so there's an article on this. Tesla supercharger extension cable maker addresses Cybertruck engineer's warning. Is this the same company? And here we're saying actually an actual Cybertruck engineer, not an engineer that owns a Cybertruck, like the Tesla employee. Remember when Tesla's head Cybertruck engineer dropped a hot take on supercharger extension cables a few days ago? Also the head engineer, Wes Morrill, advised against using them, resulting in the cable manufacturer A to Z EV reaching out to him to discuss specifics. And now they're back with their own update. See, that's how you respond. If somebody says your stuff is unsafe, you get with them to figure out what you need to do to make it safe. Or at least evaluate their claims. You could say, hey, we tested it with independent this, that, the other, and they found that the odds of this happening are super low, and we will make sure that future batches have a stronger latch, or whatever the case may be that you need to get around that. And even better, as Brandon was saying, recall it and say, hey, we're taking back all of these original ones, changing the latch out for you, or switching the whole cable out, and then recycling these. Have a wonderful life. In recent series of posts, A to Z EV addresses the safety concerns firsthand and assuring the public that their cable does meet safety standards built into the product to protect against overheating and other issues brought up by Morrill. And that's not all. A to Z also doubled down by accepting legal liability should something go wrong, and it determined to be the cause of the extension cord. That's right. They're willing to put their money where their extension cord is. Okay, that's a much better response from this other company. So Wes says, replying to Hibby and A to Z, would recommend against using extension cable. A to Z says, we've reached out to Wes and will engage in dialogue in order to have his opinion on our cable. Maybe we can learn from this experience and adjust accordingly. A few key points for everyone else: the temperature sensor, blah blah blah. If you missed the drama, we'll recap. We already did. You got to recap it again just after a picture. That caused a bit of rippling across the EV community among non-Tesla owners who now have access to the Tesla supercharging network, since their vehicles have charge ports placed in locations not optimized for supercharger short cables. And that's really the crux of all of this, is that new cars that come with the port native will work with the setup that's there. And Tesla cars always worked with it because it was built for them. And the new stations have much longer cables. So this is really a temporary issue that, as we saw in Germany, will work itself out. And why I keep pointing to Germany is that Germany was the first one that Tesla announced that they had replaced all of the short cable chargers with long cable chargers. So it's not like they're unaware. And the other reason why Germany is important there is that the port over in Europe has always been the same port for everybody. So this is the standard one, I should say. Has always been the same one for everybody. And so they already had a larger base than here, where everybody has the same port now, but you needed an adapter for the older cars to work on the existing stations.
Right, and the adapters for older cars need to be safe.
Exactly. And so the adapter really just changes the pin layout from the two add-on pins to the what used to be the Tesla plug. And I think that was an elegant solution, because why sign all these people up and then tell them, all right, you're signed up, but now you got to wait for us to change all the stations out, where your manufacturer can give you this adapter today, and as long as the cable reaches you, you can use all the stations you want today. I thought that was fair, especially given, as the other commenters pointed out, how there is a desert. If you were trying to go non-Tesla, you just couldn't in those areas that those two men pointed out. So in that case, if I had to park on the grass or put a wheel up on the curb or wait for everybody to leave so I can, take up 3 spots, I'm doing that. I'm not gonna skip my trip. All right, let's see here. A to Z chimed in after chatting with Wes to assure the public that they had nothing to worry about. That's good. The extension cord has multiple safety features built in to prevent any sort of thermal issues. For starters, the cable has its own temperature sensors on both ends, and they say that if a sensor determines that the cable is too hot, it will shut down, as we saw with the Rivian on the other guy's cable. Potentially preventing the cables from overheating, and should the charging session go sideways, it's their way of clapping back by saying, yeah, we thought of that. The company also...
So,
go ahead.
So I think that the bottom line is that there are cheaper, better options than some third party thing, right?
This one's also third party, and I don't know if it'll be cheaper, but it will be definitely safer.
Okay. All right.
I'd still wait to see the reviews. Because we know that Tom and Brandon are going to try to make it catch fire and see what it does. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't.
Tested.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't be surprised if everything goes smoothly. If one of them doesn't set a lighter, like a blowtorch, underneath it to see what it does.
Okay.
I'm not saying that they will, but if that was a concern, I wouldn't put it past them to obtain one and just put a blowtorch under it to see what happens. Let's see. But that was cool right there to see that they would take the liability to be at fault for damage to the cars from the fire. Also, hopefully also the stations. So the company, this other company, A to Z, says, legally speaking, us. We are based in Canada, which means that we are reachable, unlike companies based overseas or shady sellers on various platforms. We're not here to make a quick buck and disappear. We're here to stay. This is our commitment to EV drivers. And the other thing that's important to note with this company is that they actually do make the adapters, the official adapters for some of the manufacturers that have joined up. So they have another level of credibility to them there. In addition to not being able to disappear in the night, they, is it Ford or Mercedes or whoever is using them? I don't remember who was using them specifically, but if they're good enough for first party, then that tells you that they did their homework, right?
Yeah, because they have a reputation they need to maintain. So
Yeah.
if it meets their standard, then yeah.
And millions of dollars on the line if that contract gets reversed somehow. I'm sure there's clauses in there that say, hey, if your third party product goes bad, then and if we have the same model, then we're going to get out of it too. For now, A to Z says that it won't release the product without extensive testing. It also says that it's open to working with Tesla to ensure the product meets Tesla standards. Keep in mind that Tesla is also building its own extension cable. I don't know if Tesla still is or not, because after they said they were going to do that, they came out with the Germany situation where, hey, we don't need it because all the stations are long enough now. So we're not sure how Tesla will be willing to eat into the sales of its own first-party product. Let me check.
Do we have the long cables in America, though?
Oh yeah, we do. All of the V3 Plus stations have a V4 connection on them, and the V4 connection has I want to say like 2 or 3 meter cable on them instead of the 1.5 to 2 meter.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they also sit closer to the spot, and more towards the middle rather than just in the driver's side rear. So if the company determines the sale is safe for release, it has to fight past stigma produced by Moral's recommendation. Yeah, not just Wes's recommendation, but also the competition being literally deadly, or not literally deadly, literally potentially deadly. Because as the guy said, did you die? Nobody's died from it yet, but
Yeah.
it is deadly designed. Regardless, this certainly won't be the last time we'll hear about the supercharger extension debacle. This is sort of a conflict of interest is a problem. What is desperately needed for third-party reviewer who can evaluate and certify the products for safety, perhaps UL? Yeah, that's what Brandon was saying about it earlier. Because while it may be the case that A to Z will do comprehensive testing and stand behind the products, and I'll note that their statement that they'll accept liability puts them ahead of where Tesla is on FSD. Tesla will accept liability on FSD if you're using it correctly, which means that they don't have to because there should be no cases where it was used wrong, unless it just you're using it, holding it, and then it yanks the wheel from you or something, but it's not strong enough to take control from you. It's a buyer beware about how someone is evaluating multiple choices. All right, so now let's go to that other article that was linked. Share this tab instead. And that's because V3 supercharging stalls are too short to handle some non-Tesla EVs. This was March of 24. So yeah, I'd imagine since we haven't heard anything about it since then that Tesla's still not doing this. Brings challenges to older get fully charged. The causes geometrical issues because in order to connect the V3 charger, some non-Tesla EVs have to park in a way that takes 2 spaces. Yeah, Tesla's aware that in some cases it might be a necessity. But supercharger cables at NAC supercharger sites might be able to reach your EV charge port. However, in some cases, you might have to park in a way that, in order to charge comfortably, the company says avoid parking diagonally to reach the charge cable to obstruct it. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I don't see them still doing the cable, because the other problem with the cable is if they offered it for their stations, then they'd have to look at all the cars it could fit on, and they'd have to make sure that if you tried to use it at another station, that you didn't try to bring it back to them because the other station might be out of spec. It might be too high voltage, too high of an amperage for whatever cable that they've made. We saw that with the Nissan adapter. Theirs was not rated for the full spec. It was only rated for the Nissan car, and so it had a big old sticker on it. Only use this with a Nissan, which I guess works, but or sorry, not just any Nissan. Only works with the Nissan it was labeled for, and I guess that would maybe hold up in court, but it's not sticking with the reality of what people might do. They might have a Nissan that it came with, and then they might try to use it with a Ford or Chevy, which can go higher and use the full capability.
And even if someone does have like a different Nissan, you said like it's not rated for other Nissan cars,
Right.
So like someone might think, oh, it's a Nissan cable. It should work with any Nissan. But,
Exactly.
You know.
And then they try, and then they light it on fire.
Yeah.
Because theirs was fully half of the standard. And I get not being the new standard, but it should meet the standard that's out when you start selling it.
Yeah.
So it's a quarter of the new standard, but the protection from the old and the new is that the old doesn't reach deep enough into the socket to tell it, hey, give me everything. But if you can still say, hey, I'm an adapter. Station says it's not long enough to be the new one, but hey, here you are communicating with me. There's only one standard for this that can do that. Here's all the juice you asked for. And the Ford doesn't know you've got an adapter on it. It says, yes, thank you. All the juice I can ask for. And the station says, here you go. And then the piece in the middle is a fuse.
So my general takeaway from all this is you got to be very careful with like what cables you use with these electric vehicles.
Yeah. So the cable is attached to the station, perfectly fine, and the adapter that your manufacturer made for the car, fine. But if you're going to go third-party adapter, then you want to make sure that it's is rated correctly. And then for now, avoid the extension cables.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so the adapters would be kind of like more reliable. Would that be accurate to say?
I'd say they're rated and they're safer because really all they're doing is converting the
Or
shape.
better rated? Yeah.
Yeah, they're rated. And they're converting the shape of the connector to match the current standard. But you've got the like I said with the Nissan where that particular model was only good for half of the spec. It was perfectly good for the whole car, but not good enough to use on a different car. Whereas everybody else's adapter has been to the full spec of the slower charge. And not that it's really all that
And
slow.
and you were saying like the situation with the extension cables is just like needing the extension cables is just a temporary thing.
Yeah. So until the new dispensers get put everywhere, there's a chance that you could have a car like the Ford Mach-E. The Mach-E can do it. It's just you got to get closer than you'd ever expect. And the Ford Lightning, which, as I said, in some cases it's impossible to get it connected without putting a wheel on the sidewalk or a wheel in the grass. Those people might want.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then Tesla's done a decent job. They've tried for the ones that will just never work. They've tried not to open them to the general public. They're just only open to Teslas. But this will all go away by next year because everybody's starting to come out with a car with the right plug directly on the car in the right place. So
All right.
it won't be a very long-lived problem.
So like, is there like a universal like standard for when it comes to like what kind of plugs like go like the shape of the socket, the shape of the plug, etc.
Yeah. It's called NACS, North American Charging Standard, or J3400. Oh, you made me cookies? Thank you, baby. They're still hot. Yes, thank you. And so J3400 or NACS used to be called the Tesla plug, but they turned it over to a standards body who made it consistent, and they also added in a couple of cool features like a detachable home cable. In Europe, they have this where you can own your own cable, and you don't have to worry about the one on the station itself. And so they gave us that option. And the problem is that all the cars that were built between 2012 and 2025 that were not Teslas didn't all have the port. Like, in fact, almost none of them did. Hyundai's already got theirs going. Lucid Gravity has got theirs on there. Everybody else will have theirs on it by next year. It'll be just no adapters. It'll be just the straight NACS plug.
Okay.
But
So like if everyone's using the same thing, it would be a lot more like convenient. From
yeah, and so that's what they did.
Car to car, right?
Yeah, because it was already 60% of the market or more was on the Tesla plug, and then already something like 70% of the stations or more were Tesla stations, and so Elon constantly being up there like, "Hey, use our stuff, use our stuff." They finally said, "Yeah, let's do it," and they came to an agreement. But like I said, in Germany, they already had their standard plug, and so Tesla was using that from the launch of the Model 3 in Europe. And so everybody there already had the same plug, and so there was but there was no public transition period because the Model S and X over there used a different plug that didn't fit everybody else. But in 2018, they switched it anyway. So that the Model S came with an adapter from standard to Tesla, and then after that, they had the correct port just native on the vehicle. So their transition was like weeks versus ours is just because the amount of cars we have, it's taken a year or two because what was it, 2024? They all started to switch over, and 2026 before 2026 model year before most of them had a car that had the real port just right on there with no adapters.
Okay.
And I do like that they even offered this because a lot of manufacturers in the past would have just said, "Oh, well, tough stuff. You got a 2024. Enjoy. It still works." Yeah, it does, but as the stations get maintained, the stations are going to eventually say, "Hey, nobody's using this other thing. Why are we going to spend $500 per site to stock replacements for that other thing when we could have all of our stations churning and making us money during Christmas season and Labor Day travels instead of having like 8 spots offline because nobody's using those plugs." So if you had an adapter, you don't end up just out there with no way to use your car as you bought it for. So right now you've got the manufacturer sites like Iona and Electrify America. They've got both plugs, and then so do most third-party sites because there's still a chance you'll end up with a non-Tesla and a non-new car plugging in. But it's going to get to the point probably within a year or two where nobody's using your old style plug. So why spend the money to keep it around? And then that's when it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so I like that that the manufacturers didn't leave their customers high and dry. They certainly were in their rights. I'm glad they didn't do it because it would have been a mess.
I mean, yeah, I mean, the respect for the consumer is always going to be like really appreciated.
Yeah, but it also helps their own interest as well because you're still selling cars, and if you're not going to be able to sell the car until 2026, that'll really mess with your numbers.
Right.
Yeah, and they couldn't just switch the port out on the car at the factory because Tesla uses one port for everything, whereas everybody else had 2 ports. So if you put in 400 volts at 400 amps DC on an AC charger that's only expecting 20 to 80 amps AC at 120 to 240 volts, you've done fried that thing if it wasn't expecting it and didn't do the right thing. So what it's supposed to do is
If you fry the port, then it's like pretty expensive to replace it, I would imagine.
Probably about $250 to replace the port, but the onboard charger.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, but the AC charger, if it wasn't expecting and you burnt that out, I expect probably around, depending on the car, I'd expect that to be anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 to replace the charging unit.
Ouch.
Yeah, because they all have the power bricks that you have like on a phone or a laptop.
Yeah.
The car has a giant version of that in it. So.
So what do the power bricks actually do, though?
The same thing as they do for your phone or laptop. They take that wall power, the AC power, and turn it into DC power for the battery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, so you've got that for when you're at home and when you're on the road, but when you plug into the charging stations, the fast ones, they already have put in the right kind and quality of power that the car is expecting. But on most of the older cars that were non-Teslas, if they were to change the port only, they're then pushing that through the power brick, and the power brick needs to know to either just sit tight and relax, or to switch itself out of the way. Like, hey, I don't want that. Here's the battery. Go for it, man. and so that's why we won't see I won't say we won't see any retrofits for it, but we won't see a multitude of retrofits for it. So we might see probably for the most popular ones, you might see for the F-150 Lightning and the Mustang Mach-E, and whatever sold in enough numbers that somebody could develop a solution, you might see that. But that's why the manufacturers didn't just switch the port out. They had to source new chargers, they had to source the switches, they had to get somebody to reprogram the logic for them, and then they had to put the port on the car. So it's not that they were being weird about it. There's one other thing though with that port. If you and you'll see that on the new Nissan Leaf, it can only charge DC charge, so it can only fast charge on the Tesla port. It can't home charge on it. So they've got a connector on the other side of the car, the old style on J1772 to charge at home because their equipment isn't going to get out of the way. And so, what better way to do it than not to let them overlap? And I thought it was weird and kind of a poor solution, but somebody pointed out that since they already had that set up on their other cars, the Nissan Leaf, the old one, it was the Japanese Chademo. So that one physically didn't fit. And so that one had its own plug, and then the home charge had its own plug. So he was saying that they're already used to doing this anyway. So that's why it's okay. And when you look at it from that perspective, it does make sense. Because then you have the port that's out there for the fast charging, and then at home you can just use whatever you already had. It's not as clean and elegant, but it works.
Honestly, like a lot of, like most of this stuff just kind of goes over my head a little bit, you know, because like I don't have the same kind of experience with the stuff that you have.
Yeah, it's a good analogy would be, you remember the two different Apple transitions from that 30-pin cable to the Lightning to the USB-C?
Well, I never used Apple, so I wasn't familiar with that one, but like I am familiar with like how there was like all sorts of different like USB cables.
Yeah, so like remember a couple years ago we were using mini USB with the little teeth on it.
Yeah,
and then now we're on USB-C on Android as well. So it's that same thing, but for everybody all at once. Where you had the adapters, and sometimes the adapters weren't any good. And it's the exact same situation, but a lot higher stakes. And that you got a $5,000 to $150,000 car at stake, and then you've got everybody's life on the line. Whereas with a USB that does it wrong, you could either give yourself a mile zap, or start a fire in the house. But it was generally not as high stakes as this.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they.
With the USB-C, like actually just this morning, the phone was plugged in. The USB-C got plugged in. There was like a little bit of water in there, and like the phone kind of gave a warning, but nothing caught on fire.
Exactly, and it says boop 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 boop. Hey, there's water in the port. Get it out. Whereas
exactly.
back in the day, you'd do it and it would zap you.
Yeah.
Or pop the breaker.
Or you'd like damage your phone.
Or damage the phone, yeah.
Something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So even on that end, they're getting smarter and better about it. So it was kind of cool to see. But the other issue.
I was just gonna ask, like, do you think USB-C is kind of like the final form of the USB that we'll have, or do you think there'll be like even more improvements that will be made in like different future adapters?
There'll probably be another connector change sometime in the future, but I think this one's got some sticking power. I think it'll probably be around for about 5, 10, 15 years easily.
All right.
Because they were looking for.
I remember the Mini wasn't around for very long.
Yeah, because it had some issues. Just woof. So the mini would wear out, and it was big and bigger than the devices that needed it. And then the micro, it had the teeth, and the teeth would wear out. So it's like, but I think the Type C has given themselves enough headroom, because in the amount of time I've been using C, they went from 50 watts to 240 watts easily. And
like I remember when I first had a USB-C cable, I was like kind of like, damn, this is pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. And you didn't have to worry about which side was up. and then
yeah, exactly. You just plug it in any direction and it works.
Exactly. And then typically the speeds were better as well, even if it wasn't the USB 3, but it was the USB 2, which is more stable. I don't know how that even came out to be, but it was just more stable. But we're kind of there. And so another issue with the Tesla port on the regular charging, the home charging, is the Tesla port was able to accept 277 volts AC, whereas some of the chargers were built for just household. And so you bring your, I don't want to name a brand because I don't know what they use, but you bring your car in, let's call it that same Nissan, and probably be okay saying that because the Japanese voltage is 100 volts versus our 120 volts. So I don't know if the Nissan was this way, but say you take the Nissan that's built in a country with 100 volts, assuming that that it would also work in this country with 120 volts. So you got 200 volts even in Japan and 240 volts here, and then you plug it into a construction site or whatever at 277 volts. It might get a little toasty. And
Gotcha.
so yeah, even it wasn't just that the AC charger needs to know how to get out of the way of the DC charging. It also had to meet the full spec, and so they can't guarantee that somebody wouldn't plug into one of those stations because it fits, right? So just wait until your equipment can handle it.
I mean, like, for someone who has very limited knowledge about this, like if the cable fits, then I'm just gonna use it.
Exactly. And so they have actually two adapters. They've got the DC adapter, which is for the fast charging, and they've got the AC adapter. So if you're going to charge at home on a Tesla charger that doesn't have the adapter built into it, that one's called the Tesla Universal Connector. Then you would need a home adapter and you would need a on-the-road adapter. And so who was it? Somebody does include both of them, and they just labeled them. So use the green one when you're out, and use the black one at home, which is annoying to have to keep track of two of them. But I thought it was an elegant solution. It's like, hey, you can plug in anywhere in North America. Enjoy.
All right, so I'm thinking I'm gonna hop off here.
Okay.
But it was like really great. It was really fun, kind of learning a little bit about this stuff from listening to.
Yeah, thanks for stopping there. It was a pleasure
talking with you.
Yeah. Let's see. So
which we could have come in sooner than sit chat. So yeah, but also there's USB, USB-D coming. Who's gone? Oh dear.
USB-D is on the way.
I was talking with the other guys about it before. It's still in beta, but they've got it's going to be like an all dancing, all singing thing, and they're trying to make it to replace the HDMI and all the rest of it. It's supposed to do a lot of other stuff.
So when
and, some other things.
When they expected to have that out, like 5-10 years?
I'm not sure yet. I did look at the other article on it, and I'll see if I can find it again for you. But they're beta testing it with other devices, but it's mostly in the industry at the moment, but not in the general public yet.
Okay.
But yeah, it's going to be the new. So it's going to be replacing the HDMI, the USB-C, and all the others meant to be. It's all singing, dancing, new one. We'll see if when it comes, and it's going to. I think because we're 30 gigs with USB-C at the moment, but it's going to be a lot more than that. So
yeah, because over the USB-C connector with Thunderbolt 5, they're at 120, 180.
Yeah,
so there's room.
It's going to be matching that, if not more.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be that and more. So we'll see about that once it happens. Down the road.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it.
I was so tired earlier. I couldn't come into the space. I don't know if you saw. I was on the run. I did put the posts about it. So
nice.
And then the rain and all the rest of it. It was it was just back and forth, and oh dear me! I saw a load of Teslas. It was a Model X in like a burgundy.
Oh, nice.
A white model. A model. There's a Model X, a Model Y, loads of the new Model 3s at the front end, and a few of the other ones. And I saw someone coming in with a caravan and pickup thing, and he was doing his charging in the Plas Cork when I had my dinner. And I got back out, and all the weather, as I say, I sat at the bus stop, and I was like, "Oh, what am I going to do? I can't do this. I have to continue and get back." So I started running.
Yeah.
But it doesn't count towards your steps, and then when you've got no cell service, it doesn't count on those either. So
right.
Half the time I haven't counted any of my steps this week. So
oh man,
my friend Melissa, she's actually ahead of me. I thought, yeah, well, you're ahead of me because I got no service.
Right. Yeah. Oh man, I was get upset when I'm missing steps in the tracker. It's I took those steps.
Yeah. And I've seen they've broken ground working on some more chargers too. So they haven't finished the ones on the other side, but I've noticed that they're also doing the other ones as well. So there's more and more of those popping up. That's
Good.
always good to see. And I saw that other guy charging his motorbike at one of them, and by the time I got there, he was gone. So that guy was. I sent you the link on the Facebook of that red motorbike. I seen his bike, but by the time I got to him, he was gone.
Oh man.
I thought, like, oh, that sucks. I wanted to see him and say hello to him. And I got it.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, I tell you. Well, that's it. What can you do? Because I saw the bike first of all knocked over, and then when I come back around again, he was gone.
Oh wow.
Because I say someone pushed it over.
Oh
What can you
no.
do?
Yikes.
That's the second way. That didn't do really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, so what can you do? We got a lot of dodgy weather now as well. So I don't know how much more we can do with a push bike with the weather as it is. So I just I've been using the bus a few times as well.
Yeah.
And
You guys' autumn
so
starts same time as ours, right?
well, this is it. I mean, it's all that, and the apples are still on the tree. As I say, we had all that dry spell, so they haven't grown as much as they normally do, but they're all still there, hanging on the tree.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
but it's
they'll
it's the
come
same,
down
right?
soon.
They start around September, start getting cold, leaves changing, or
Uh, second week of September, the kids go back. Then it starts to drop off after that.
okay.
But this weather's changed, doesn't mean it's
It
not
sure
the same
has.
as it
Oh
used to
man.
be.
It's
And the flooding in some places and droughts in other.
mm-hmm.
And then you see other people. They've been siphoning that water, the canal. I sent you those pictures with the locks and stealing the water.
Mm-hmm.
And they did that also up at the top in the aqueduct to the lake. And where my family used to live up at the top, which was flooded, and they've been going up there with the tankers and taking the water. And
Oh man.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So this is it. So that feeds England. That does. So yeah, they've been up there, and I sent you the link to the video for that because at the low tide you can see the rocks from the old church, and
Yeah.
you should see how low it is, but it comes back again. But it's it does it every year, but it's not as much as that. So it's you can see how much it's gone down in recent times. But if the rain's not in the right place, it's not going to fill it, is it?
Exactly. Oh man.
So
yeah.
this is it. But I mean, they've not done enough work to keep the water. I mean, they've got this underground that reservoir thing where they built the other one where they dug out the ground and they fill it with water and so it won't evaporate.
Yeah.
It's a big section. It's like you could drop Madison Square Gardens into it 4 times over.
Wow.
And and then it's like a big playing field over top of it now. So and they've got fence all like hatches all the way along, and that's held there underground. There's quite a few of those places, but not enough for me. There's a lot of water also runs into the old mines as well, but obviously that then gets contaminated with all the other stuff. But there's a lot of water down there.
Yeah, we're gonna end up having water wars. People don't realize it, but we will.
Oh yeah. This is it. I mean, I remember when there was other ones when they took that other area and they turned it into a desert area, isn't it? Up Russia way, wasn't it?
Yep.
Well, yeah, you could turn ground to nothing in any time, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the climate will change because of things we've done as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So cycles, but I'm sorry I had to have a little rest when I got back.
No, resting is important.
And missing the rest of your stuff.
I appreciate you coming through.
Later.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming through. Which reminds me, I want to thank everybody for coming through today, and I want to thank our channel members for their continued patronage. Again, congratulations to Anders at 43 months of membership. And so with that, I will catch you guys on the flip side. And you can catch us on the Tesla Life show for the Express show on Monday, and again live on Wednesday. And don't forget Brian at Futuraza. He's got the summary of their Drive Electric month coming up as well. So catch you on the flip side.